Alright, we're back with Bronze to GM Diamond Part 2 PvP to start things off. And this is a matchup where we are continuing the exact same build from Diamond Part 1. No changes whatsoever, but we'll add a few details into the notes, try to be a little bit more consistent on some parts, and more importantly, hopefully show you guys how to deal with various things that we come across. First opponent to warm up today is a 3700 MMR Protoss player by the name of The Big Year. And he's about to get the big Protoss lasers to the face. So, should be fun. Our probe is derping around a little bit there. We'll just double that one up. Let's bring our server up. We're playing the Eastern US server because our opponent is from Europe. We want to make sure they have some decent ping. We get the gateway there. Then we just go for that nice little loop around their base. And then I like to set up a patrol path there just to keep seeing what's going on. I should have queued up another probe first of all, so I did lose a little bit of probe production time, which is sloppy. And we're going to get that second gas, and then we can go over there. And you can notice you just look to make sure all your workers are doubled up on their patches. And let's get our camera locations. Second base, third base, fourth base, and fifth base. And we can do that extra chrono boost on probes. I believe we were doing double chrono on probes last week, but I can't quite remember. I'll check the notes after this game. If someone watching live can remind me and inquire about the chrono boost, I can confirm yay or nay. Alright, so we build the cyber core. Next up, after queuing up another probe, making sure we're always building probes, is to get that pylon. It's a decent spot. We can build a shield battery in the mineral line off that, and of course plenty of space to build tech and production down here. Now, what are you looking for in their base? Well, one of the main things is, did your opponent build a second pylon? Because if not, well, they could be proxying you. But we see a second pylon right about the same time as my one, which is very standard. Now, where do you cut probes, guys? Or get away from my minerals, you dick. There we go. 2 stalkers and warp gate, no worries. So we want to rally the next probe down there, and we want to go to, I think, 18 on minerals is usually okay. 17 or 18, somewhere about there. So we build that third pylon there. And that should be okay. Looks like he's chrono boosting both warp gate and a gateway, and has a third pylon in the middle. So that's fine. We're going to go home with our probe now. This guy can be our wall-off probe. I guess we can build one more probe. That's the most we'd want to build there. And then we want to go 2 sentries next. We don't have the gas for 2 sentries, but that's okay. Actually, this probe's not going to get back in time to build our expansion, so that's fine. Let's just send this guy up into the main. We want the Nexus, which goes down here. And then this guy could sit on the high ground, ready to wall off if those adepts come in, of course, guys. Sentries on the high ground. And if your opponent comes at you, you want to try and move forward, stutter step. I could have done a lot more damage there if I was a bit quicker to do that. Now, once your Nexus is down, you also want to build a shield battery. So we're just doing things by default. I'm going to put the sentries on a different control group. We want to build 2 more stalkers. And notice that will supply block you on 39. So it's very important after that to build another pylon. And it feels weird getting supply blocked as part of the build, but that's okay. Because we're going to spend money on the robo as well here. These guys will hallucinate. We'll send that across the map to see what's going on. Oh. So notice if we can focus fire, that's going to be great. I'm going to F2 here, but then I'm going to take the hallucination and send it across the map.
Research completed.
We can pull back our weak one, or we can grab these guys and pull them down as well. Now let's just try to pull everything together. And we're back to probing now, guys, because it's already been a while. Chronos, move those around. Okay, so we weren't expecting a frontal push. He's doing a 2-gate robo. He's doing the same build I am, basically. Okay, no worries. All right, let's chrono probes a little bit. We could build a few more stalkers and rebuild our shield battery to be safe. You see how that shield battery just keeps you safe against a lot of random things that can happen? I had the sentries and the stalkers rally to my main because I was worried about an oracle, because our scouting's still pretty shit at this stage, right? Doing really advanced Protoss scouting is really good if you're max packs, but for us, we want to just kind of have our build be a bit more safe by default. So anyway, we're going to build an observer, send it across the map. He's got an observer as well, actually. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at his robo. Imagine he rallies that across the map. Let's go down here to the watchtower with my observer and my army, so we can try to interrupt and catch his one. Now, let's get another pylon there. We don't really need this adept anymore. Adept pylon guy. Build a few more. And now we can, of course, get the robo bay. And the second robo as well. Oh, look at that. So we managed to kill a unit there. I don't know if we got an observer or not. I'm going to send another hallucination in just to check what's going on. We're just going to go home, and I'm just going to take the observer. We're going to dump that onto 0, and we'll leave that outside the base. All right. Keep building probes, guys. We shouldn't really have any breaks in building probes. We are a little slow in building the gases as well. Now, notice I'm a little bit slower on... Sorry, not slower. I'm actually building an observer faster than I normally would. Why am I doing extra observer? Because I know he's gone robo, and he's doing the exact same build as me. This guy's doing Bronze to GM versus me. Great. Okay. Let's build some probes. This is gonna be interesting. All right. So we're gonna still go for. There's no reason to go Colossus. If you see someone doing this build, guys, disruptors are just better, because basically you know your opponent's not going for a big charge, you know, melee style army. They're going for a long-range army that picks at you from afar. Colossus, Immortals, and Disruptors. So what wins here is Disruptors. If the fight's going to be slow and kind of conducted at arm's length, you just want to have more Disruptors than them. That's the entire game. Now, we don't have to worry about, anything, really. He's not going to make DTs. He doesn't have the bloody money to make DTs, does he? So I'm building a lot of pylons right now, and I'm just making lots of disruptors. And we're just going to rally these to this immortal. And we're just going to keep making those disruptors. I'm making lots of pylons because I feel getting that count up high is the most important thing. And that's it, guys. Where, you know, this is the advantage of if someone does a very peculiar build, we can show you guys how to beat it. We can also show people how to beat my own build. He's got a third as well. Well done. These will be my last maybe 6 probes, right? Queue up another 2 disruptors there. All I'm doing is just building disruptors, building probes right now, guys. Building disruptors, building probes. Now, we still want to go Twilight Forge. We still want to go for those other units. But it's just not as important as basically getting out the disruptors and then starting to ruin our opponent's day with said disruptors, okay? A few zealots, but we don't want too many zealots because remember, he's got Colossus. So I think, generally speaking, Blink would be more important, but even more important is just get Archons. Archons don't really care about Colossus attacks that much. They can't really close to kill the Colossus, but that's okay. So these will be my last couple probes I'm building. We've got another 2 disruptors coming out. Let's queue up some more. I don't want to waste money on Stalkers, they're trash. I don't want to waste money on Zealots, they're kind of trash. I literally just want to get Archons, guys. I'll get Charge anyway, because they're still good for run-bys, and if you surround or flank, they can still be effective, but we really don't want to go too hard on those units. Now, I'd like to take a 4th base. On this map, I'd like to open this right side. Let's just send out a Zealot there, and maybe get a few Zealots, and we'll just send 1 Zealot out the left as well, just to see if an attack's coming at all. We can take a 4th base, immediately take the gases and the pylon. Why? Because that just gets things done way quicker. Let's select these disruptors as well, guys. Put them all on the hotkey. And we definitely need to get a bunch of gateways here. Having some more Immortals in my army is probably a very good idea right now. Now, you might be wondering why. Very good question. The reason is... Let's take 5 of these guys and put them on gas, by the way. Too many balls. I know. So I'm very progressive. Don't doubt me on this. I'm an ally. Too many balls can be a bad thing. I know people are like feminist. No, trust me. I love men. I love women. I love you all. But let's be real. This is probably more than enough balls. There's too many balls on the dance floor. Let's make a Warp Prism now. And we're gonna start making those Archons and Immortals to buffer our ridiculous count of balls. Now, this is where things get really interesting because you're suddenly engaged in a very different, more complicated sort of game to what I've taught you guys so far. This is something where if you suck with Disruptor Micro, you do not want to do what I'm doing this game. Unless you're willing to work on and improve your Disruptor Micro. Because that's what this is all going to be about. Now, what is fighting with Disruptors about? It's about vision. So all I'm building from now is Observers. We've got a Warp Prism, which is great. The trick here is not to reinforce your army, it's to get inside their main. So I'm sending the Prism down the bottom, ready to go into their base, okay? I'm making more Archons. I will just build a cannon, I guess, in each base, because this guy could do Zealot run-bys, and if you're on 4 base, you might as well. But, there we go. Let's just make a few more Zealots and Archons. So now I've got some beef in my army to help defend me. I see a High Templar, so I'm going to send a Zealot down there. I don't know what that High Templar is doing. but best to find out, hey? We're also going to keep scouting, which I haven't been doing a good job of at all. Just send a few hallucinations out. And, oh, he's got a prism. Hello. Hello, you naughty boy. Oh, he's down here. Okay, let's get down here. We're going to try and open these minerals, by the way. Oh, we're going to lose that base, and that's okay. Alright, let's just make some more High Templar. And what you want to do is you want to pull your army back and you want to try and shoot first and click your disruptor on their disruptor. Whoever fires first will always win these trades. Now you want to pull back and try to micro your disruptor into the middle of their army. That's what you want to do, okay guys? So the idea here is to not actually stand and fight. Now, problem, I don't have vision. So if you don't have vision, you can shoot disruptor shots out to scout. You can also move your army forward because we saw an observer there. We have to kill it. Now, we can see he's attacking that. So shield battery, overcharge to try and save it. Apparently I'm supply blocked right now. So we're pulling our whole army back, which is of course not great. And he's getting me while I'm not looking, which is also really well done. I'm trying to play this very slowly, guys. We just lost a lot of disruptors, so I'm queuing up 6 more disruptors. That was some real panic shots. Let's also morph Archons. I seem to be winning. I seem to be winning. Remember, we're not very Zealot focused. Morph Archons. That's great. All right, so because he's doing some Zealot run-bys and stuff as well, we do need to deal with this. So what we're going to do, in this scenario, this is shit. Don't just build a billion cannons. What you want to do, we'll take a bunch of units, a few Archons, a few Stalkers, a few Zealots. These guys, we're going to put them on our drop defense key. And we're going to send these over to deal with the Prism, okay? And now we're going to go back, take the 4th base, both gases, a pylon. Take the 5th base, the gas, a pylon. Why are we doing that, guys? The reason is if you don't do that and try to click the Prism. Alright, so the Prism's dead. We can rejoin these guys, kill that Zealot, and rejoin my army. Shift 1. But yeah, basically, let's get more attack upgrades as well. It's F2, select the disruptors, control 3, or whatever control group you want to put them on. We're behind because we lost our 4th, right? So we've got to get these bases back up, both at the same time. Now this is where, notice I've got like 5 observers following my army. So you want to just start spreading those out. And if you can shift siege them up, that's going to be great. We've got more disruptors, control 3. More zealots because they're the quickest unit to warp in. And notice we're going to go down to the right because I think that's where he'll attack me, okay? We're building cannons and batteries because we're desperate to get this up. We're checking, are we winning that fight? We are. If we're winning it, we can look away. Oh, the zealots found my disruptors. Control click the disruptors, control 3. You get some great disruptor shots off. Well done. Now you want to spread against this, right? If they ever catch you out with their disruptors like that, you do want to try to spread normally. Let's try and retake these bases. Let's break those rocks. Okay. We're back to it, way too many balls, so we can go back to Immortal production after this. And this is where you could go Sky Toss, but instead we're just going to keep making upgrades. We're going to add Blink. And we're going to basically take our workers and fix our economy. We're going to control those guys. Shift control idle worker. See how I just selected all my idle workers and the units I wanted to transfer? So I could send them over all at once. Alright, what's my probe count? 55. That's pretty bad. So we're gonna hold down the probe key, do a round of chronos. And at this point, I'm sick of defending. My opponents keep me on the defense. What's a way you can put them on the defense? Grab some zealots, steal them. We're just going to A-move them along the bottom, okay? Probably not going to do that much because he's probably got plenty of static at this point, but it's really useful to do that. We can add plasma shields here as well. We can control group the robos, so I now have 4 robos. And check it out, because I put these observers out, guys, we can see his army. So we're going to put an observer there as well. So let's move out to the left, and let's show you guys the disruptor micro that you want to be doing. Okay. So we're going to go forward with the disruptors, and you want to just grab like 1 or 2 disruptors usually. And, oh! And you want to try and run them forward. So we're going to try and click the disruptor, micro onto his disruptor. Click the disruptor, micro onto his disruptor. Well, that one died. This is a bizarre little push from him, but I think it's because our zealot counterattack went in. We distracted him, so he's kind of just throwing stuff at me a little bit. Okay, I think we killed all that stuff. All right, I mean that's something. We're just trying to warp in zealots reactively whenever he runs in. This is why having more gateways could really help as well. Let's transfer some workers down here, guys. That base is oversaturated, so let's put over here on this one, and on the gold. Oh my god, he's there as well. Okay, guys, we need to spend our money on Archons. Why Archons? Because I have a lot of gas, not much minerals. We're gonna rebuild the pylons here. Alright, we're gonna attack down there with this army, and I'm gonna steal that off. So that now becomes a counterattack squad, okay? So I'm defending with disruptors and whatever else I can warp in, which is gonna be pure Archon from here, okay, guys? So we've got to defend this with just disruptors. The other army, that's an A-move army. It's been queued up to go and attack. We don't need to look at it. First target is his disruptors, okay? So I shoot the disruptor shot, and I click it on his disruptors. Next one, also on his disruptors. We throw some big balls out. He's going to kill that base. That's okay. We can warp zealots on the high ground. We can make some more immortals. We're maxed out, which is why I can't deal with it. I've still got a few balls loaded, so let's kill the High Templar, and let's try to get the Colossus if we can. Unfortunately, we did fall short there. So we're going to have to keep working up that ramp. Now, at the same time, these guys didn't keep A moving, so let's send them further forward. Shoot 2 disruptors to finish off those Colossus. You got one of them. Now notice your front disruptors are empty. So you grab them, click them to the back, and then you start doing like that. And we always were going to have to start getting better with disruptors, because that's one of the big power splash units with Robo. But we've kind of just had to be forced to do it ahead of schedule, is the only thing. Okay, so we're coming down here. We're going to control click our idle workers and rebuild that Nexus in the pylon. Okay. We're also going to build a pylon here and retake that Nexus. We're going to select our probes and rally to the goal. These guys can go back to this key. This key's probably got immortals or something, or disruptors in front of it now. So we're going to pull these guys back. We're just going to leave a single stalker down here. We're going to dump that off our key, okay? Whew. Ooh, yo. Stressful game, right, guys? This is fun. Alright, that can go there. These guys can go there. Just going to build a pylon and then that. Okay, and tell them to return minerals, but they will go onto mining gas after they return the minerals. That's why it doesn't happen straight away, if you're wondering about that. So we're going to go double forge because we don't have that yet. You could go DTs as well. DTs is a really good late game tool, but for now we've got plenty of disruptors. These guys can become my main army again. I was using them, remember, as that secondary key. I can F2 if I want. I found a High Templar. Why have I got a High Templar? Because we need to make more of these guys, don't we? But we're maxed out. So, making plenty of cannons and batteries at each base, guys. I think we'll try to push over here. That observer kind of sees everything. This observer can move down here and kind of see everything. I think what we'll do is we'll split the army off again. It's always good to get a big army of A-move units. So we're going to take like just a bunch of every zealot and a few Archons and a few immortals. We're going to send those to the top left. And this is the best thing you can do, guys. Oh, these guys are splitting up. And as long as they have an observer with them, they won't die to DTs. They're going to go up there, and then they're going to attack around the top, cleaning up bases. Meanwhile, the rest of my army will push down the right. Oh, and he's got carriers, guys. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Alright, so we need to make even more gateways to make sure we can warp in lots of stalkers. These guys are going to pull back, and these guys are going to attack forward. So this now becomes my new backstab force. These guys become my new army. Make sure the observers are always following. Notice they're not on the army key, they're just following. And we can try to move these guys in. Just make sure they're actually doing damage to the things that matter. And then these guys can run in from this side. So you see, we're going to watch his army running back. Vision is everything in PvP and with Disruptor. So we're going to go in and attack up here as he leaves, okay? These guys are going to move... Oh, they're kind of trapped, so we kind of just have to fight. But these guys can now run in, okay? So we're going to go depower all that. And if you can move in on the minerals. And we're just throwing massive disruptor shots into the middle of his Archons. We're going to run away now, run to the north. And we're going to send Zealots in. If they go Sky Toss, you just want to keep doing counterattacks, guys. So we're just shooting disruptors out. Trying to defend our army. If you can click it on the Zealots, that's always really good. Click it on the Archons. Just try to always shoot them, click them. I know I'm doing it a bit fast, but it is what it is. These guys are going to attack towards the main. Trying to get on the Colossus. And we're just making like 50 Stalkers now, okay? 50 Stalkers. Chrono the upgrades. Because he's only got a few carriers. I can't fight yet. I need another warp in. But if we can just take out the Colossus, so he doesn't have any ground support.
Nexus point under enemy attack.
Problem is, because he's on my base... Okay, I'm gonna warp in a bunch of Zealots on top, and then a bunch of Stalkers as well.
Nexus point under enemy attack.
And there we go. Notice we just warped in Stalkers because those units were split up. These guys can come here. And now we're going to try to jump on him because we should have enough Stalkers.
Nexus point under
And you just want to focus fire. Really great play by Big Gear, by the way. He's playing some fantastic kind of late game. Normally we would go Tempests, but because we were so focused on the Robo War and kind of explaining Disruptor versus Disruptor stuff to you guys, it was quite different. The advantage his army always had this game was he had an A-move army. The advantage I had, as my upgrades get cucked at like 90% complete. Let's take a probe, rebuild that. And then we can take a few bases down here as well. And try to just rebuild some probes there, keep rebuilding. I had way more disruptors. So my army had better potential if I'm looking at it. His army had better potential if I wasn't looking at it. And we were both just A-moving. His army would always kind of kick my ass, right? So we want to go back up to about 70 probes because that's just kind of what you want usually as a Protoss player. We can go down here. So it looks like he's going to attack me, guys. This will give me an opportunity. Okay, let's warp in a lot of Zealots. We see guys coming there. Try to build some cannons if we can and try to battery overcharge to buy time. Warp in some more Zealots. Oh, our army's going to come down as well. Okay. So control click the Stalkers. Blink, and then you just want to A-click or simply click on those carriers. As soon as Blink's cooldown, try to take these units out. Just remember, get a few pylons, try to take the gases. You want to batch these tasks up. When you're in a big macro game, you just want to do as much stuff at once as possible. These guys, hopefully, is enough to deal with this. It's not. He's got more than me there. So we need to wait for a few more Zealots, guys. He's also got better upgrades than me. And as I warp in a few more. Now, because especially he's on move command, we can win. But he's got Archons coming in there as well. So we're going to warp in a few Archons as well. Same time, I'm going to attack that right side. GG, well played. Your macro was insane for a 3700 player. He did really freaking good. Because he did lots of run-bys. Lots of run-bys as well as using the A-move army. If he just made a big clump of A-move units and then stared at it, which is kind of what I was expecting, I would have shown you how to pick it apart really friggin' hard. But I didn't get to because he was so good at constantly Zealot counterattacking and running in from multiple angles, which is what you should do. If you've got A-move units, you want to create situations where you're not both actively looking at everything, right? And when he jumped on my army up here, if I was a little slower to react, he could have killed all my disruptors and potentially won the game. Now, what's the trick with the disruptor micro? Try to set up your observers for vision. And a big part of the dance will be he'll come forward, kill your observer, you'll come forward and try to snipe his observer. Because, like I said, you need to see, say his army's up here, you want to come up and throw that from the very edge of vision. So it basically, this ball comes flying out of the fog, your opponent has no time to react. And this is why, if you're in a bit of a standoff, you can pull a single disruptor forward like that. And that's really good. Because if you have 10 on a key like I was doing, that's incredibly dangerous. If you're just running them around in a ball, and you have no vision, and you're just running into the fog, I could be running, and at any point, a disruptor shot could come out and kill all of my disruptors. So whenever you get near the enemy, try to get vision in front. And if you ever are going, okay, I've got all my disruptors in a clump, remember what I said? Shoot a disruptor, pull back. This is huge. Shoot a disruptor, pull back. Because the disruptor will scout for you. And then if you can counterattack them, so because they're going to be so afraid of those disruptor shots, they can't really do anything. You just kind of like, go, shoot, pull back, and just keep your army around as well. And you always have to be able to just run away when you see enemy disruptor shots coming. But like I said, biggest thing, you see an enemy disruptor, you have to just shoot your disruptor, grab it, click it on their disruptor. Shoot your disruptor, click it on their disruptor. If you can kill their disruptors, you know, it's huge. And remember, if a disruptor's firing, the disruptor shot does not detonate if it gets killed mid-fire. That's massive. That's very, very, very important. By the way, that pylon did not power that robo. Youchies. Yeah, really well played by him. I still could have played the A-move Colossus and Mortal Army and done more multi-prong. but I wanted to show you guys a variation here. If you're really into the disruptors, you feel really good with them. Maybe don't go as hard on the disruptors, so it's not as one-dimensional on that focus. You could say, still get 1 or 2 Colossus. You could still get a few Immortals and then go for the heavy disruptor, something like that is just as valid. But the disruptors have crazy potential payoff, which is why I wanted to show you that. Because personally, if I was playing a game at my own MMR, that's what my instinct would be. Make disruptors. Don't bother focusing on Colossi too much. Let's just get the big balls and drop our trousers on our opponent's face. Alright guys, we're playing against a random player, Activillain, right now. This is my my real life buddy. He's playing before he goes to work for the day. So we're going to go for a Pylon Scout just to make sure we see what goes on. Random players are generally cheesier. You don't know what they're going to be doing. So we're going to, by default, go for a low ground wall-off. If it's a Protoss, doesn't matter. We're still just going to do the 2-gate opening, do the same build. The only difference is we're slightly lower in minerals because we sent a Pylon Scout rather than a Gate Scout. He's about 3600 MMR and is far from a solid player. But he does a lot of cheeky BS, so it'll be useful to see. Already we can see this is a proxy racks by the looks of it, guys. No second gas just yet. And we're going to attack that probe on the thing. Alright. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to scout around his base with some shift clicks so I don't have to monitor that. And because he's proxy racks, guys, so normally we go Nexus, we're going to go Cybercore before Nexus. So that we can build units a bit quicker, okay? Doesn't change much. We're still pausing probes on 20 supply. We're still building a Nexus on 20. The only difference is if you go Nexus, Cybercore before Nexus, you need to go Pylon before second gas. Yeah, probe's fine. So we need to go for the Pylon now. Okay? That's it. Doesn't really change much.
Probes under attack.
You can build a Zealot if you want to help defend proxy stuff. That's a choice. That's probably the easier thing. It does make it a bit easier. Alright, we killed him there for being a cheeky butthead. We're going to make an Adept to get up there quickly. And we're just going to... Alright, I'm going to use a patrol path to make sure that it doesn't have to be microed anymore, because that's annoying me. We don't want to have to do micro. Make Warp Gate, and I'll make a Stalker after that as well.
Under attack.
I don't know why my probe count was so low, but it is. So we still haven't seen an expansion. Let's go check his gold base, guys. And let's also now go for... We probably should have scouted for the proxy, let's be honest, guys. And we don't have a shield battery or anything. Now, we don't know what's going on. So that probe's going to go that way. I don't want to get him caught by concussive shell marauders or anything. So we're just kind of looking around the map now, trying to figure out what's going on, okay? Got the Robo there, we've got the Gate, we're chrono boosting units. Speak of the devil. That's the scariest thing against Terran is concussive shell marauders. Now, just make sure we're hiding until the shield battery's here. I'm still probing right now, guys. But we can build another shield battery, okay? Yeah. Okay. So what we can do here is we can try to micro out there, but... Okay, so we can beat the crap out of these guys. Now, we don't want to go too far away, guys. Because obviously then the shield battery can't heal us. But notice I try to target the weak marauder and then pull back. Target the weak marauder and then pull back. Bit risky. Whenever you want to pull back to build units, just pull way back to the shield battery and then go back, build an immortal. Build that. Alright, so probe's going to go back to scouting. We're going to keep probing. It's not an important thing. But because I feel I've shut this down, I already killed a marauder or two, I lost no units. Easy. Easy situation. Now, to make this a bit more dominant, we could take more gateways. But I feel like if we just queue up a second immortal, we should be able to bust out. And the trick is, if they've proxied multiple barracks building marauders, well, immortals hard counter marauders, number one. Number two. What's number two, guys? Number two. Oh, Jesus. Oh, jeez. Okay, pull every probe. And click on the marauders. Notice we're clicking on the marauders because they take bonus armored from both stalkers and immortals. Now pull back and just kill these SCVs. Pull back the guys on the right. Now we can do it. Okay, these guys are just going to chase him down now. And now we can just back off. Why? Because we got the second immortal. So now we can F2. I am shamelessly F2ing. building another... This build is completely hard countered by this. But remember, even if he didn't push in then, I was going to probably push out with 2 Immortals. I did not realize he'd pulled probes because I was not watching my probe. And I may have been surrounded and had to like snap recall or something. But as long as you focus fire the Marauders, especially with the Immortals, you'll be fine. The reason I wanted to push out there is if his barracks are on your side of the map, a lot of people go, okay, I defended it, I'm safe. Now let's take a third base, go double robo bay, let's go forges. Whilst I was still probing, I was non-stop building Immortals and gateway units. Why? Because your opponent is so exposed. If they've proxied multiple production structures, your aim should be to defend and then get enough army to go kill those production structures, or at least force them to lift. Because that's going to ruin their build if you can get out there and do that. If you want to be a bit safer, you can squeeze an observer in to check what you're going up against, find the barracks first, make sure you're not going into a bunch of Marauders and a surround of SCVs, which would have made the game a little bit closer and scarier. But that's the way to do it. Bro, I know Stargate says active. Yeah, we're playing Robo first for this whole Bronze to GM. It's always Robo. It's like a super Robo-focused style where we're just making lots of Immortals, Colossus, and Disruptors every game. It's working out pretty well. Robo units are very good at fighting, so they are very noob-friendly. Very noob-friendly. They're very noob-friendly. But yeah, the main thing here is to not chase too far away from the battery, but also don't just let them walk in and kill your battery. Make sure you actually fight against them. And yeah, good stuff. Keep making units non-stop from there and there. You could go for a second and third gateway. You could build an early Zealot if you want. And why Stalkers? People might ask, why Stalkers? Don't they take double damage from Marauders? It's because the Stalker has equal range to the Marauder. Does lots of damage. If your opponent doesn't micro, Zealots and Adepts can kind of fight them because they're light. Problem is, if they actually know how to shoot, pull back, shoot, you're kind of screwed fighting against Marauders with Zealots and Stalkers. Zealots and Adepts, whereas Stalkers can actually, with the help of the shield batteries, fight them very well. So they do very similar damage to each other. 18, the Stalker does, Marauder does 20, but the Stalker has an extra 35 hit points as well. Yeah, having one Adept or Zealot for tanking is nice though, because the Marauder does literally half damage versus those non-armored units. So, same reason why pulling probes can be really good, and pulling SCVs can be really good for them. Alright guys, what's up? We got our first Zerg of the day. Now, I was going to do something, we're going to start practicing our multitasking a bit more. Diamond part 2, you're getting to mid-diamond and above. I mean, you got to start fucking putting some work in to control your units. Am I right or am I right? So, what we're going to do is it's a big map. We're going to send a probe down. We're going to do a 13 pylon for our wall off rather than a 14. And you can do this on just about any map. And this means on pretty much any map, you can block their expansion. Now, if they go 15 hatchery, 15 pool, this probably won't be able to block them. But this is just a nice way to disrupt the Zerg. And in general, either disrupting the Zerg quite a bit, or at least just doing some moves to make StarCraft a bit more disruptive for them, can have really big benefits. So, excuse me. Oh my god. Alright. And then we chrono boost, keep building probes here. And you can see we can go, haha, and we block that base. And that's very annoying for them to deal with. We then take a gas behind it. You do chrono a bit earlier than normal with this build. The reason why you do that is because you did a 13 pylon, which means the pylon actually finishes a bit earlier and actually unsupply blocks you. So even though you cut probe production, your 14th probe is a little late, it kind of catches up almost a little bit later, and more importantly, you disrupt their build. Now, after that, you go in their main, and you confirm gas went down and pool between 1 minute and 5 and 1 minute 20, and they both did. Normally, it's gas about 1 minute and 8, minute 10 seconds, pool about 1 minute 14, something like that, guys. And now we can just do that very normal follow-up. Okay? If you want to go very aggressive, that's fine, and we'll just scout around, confirm where the base is. Once the cyber core's up, back to probing. You guys know how it goes. We scout the third base. This looks all normal. And part of this is going to keep us safe. Because remember, we were struggling with some all-ins before because our build was just so blind, right? It was so blind. We weren't really working on being active with our adepts. So there's 2 things you can do to be a bit safer. Number 1, when the pool finishes, are there lava saved up? We can see only 1 lava, so not a big deal, okay? We don't have to stress at all. If there's like 3 lava sitting there, 2... pool finishes, they all suddenly turn into eggs, guess what? Pretty good chance those eggs are going to be Zerglings, and your opponent's hitting you with 2 Zerglings from there, 6 from there, plus whatever else rallies out behind it, and it's either a rather heavy Ling pressure or maybe a straight up Ling flood, big all in, you know? So, what are we doing? We're chronoing an Adept, rallying across the map, we're also queuing up another Adept, and then immediately chronoing that as well. So why are we doing this, guys? The reason we're doing this is because blocking their base and then double Adept pressuring is very annoying for them to deal with. Behind this, we're going to chrono boost probes. I'll make a Stalker after that one. So once that guy's out, we can rally there and try to kill that. This guy can come across, add to the control group. And we can see, okay, there's a lot of Zerglings. Now you might be like, okay, if they just build a lot of Zerglings, this doesn't even achieve anything. I'm not even going to be able to kill anything. What the hell, Pig? Why you get me to do this dumb thing if it doesn't even achieve anything? Reason, if they build Zerglings, those are not probes. So that's already a big success. We're going to rally an Observer across the map, guys. We'll get the second gateway, get the pylon.
Combat awaits.
Super chill.
Give us your command.
Our build order is also getting a little bit closer to a pro build order as well. Now, if you can kill the Zerglings, that's actually great. Just focus fire them, and if they run away, then you can go after those other units instead. And at this point, what we're going to do is, I know this is a bit too good for Diamond right now, but that's okay. So I'm purposely mismicroing a little bit here, guys. And now we can just shift click those drones, okay? That already got me way too far ahead. This is almost game over at this point, which is kind of wild to say, but let's be honest about it, it is. Take double gas, get the second Robo and the Robo Bay, as well as building Immortals behind this. And this already has essentially put me in a massive lead, and I could have killed even more there if I wanted to. And that is the power of doing a bit of harassment early game against a Zerg player, not letting them just kind of get into their comfort zone. It also would have scouted if any all-in was coming. So if a player is greedy or doesn't defend correctly, you do get big damage, right? But also you scout if any all-ins are coming. So this is a mixture of this keeps us safe. This also not only keeps us safe, it also punishes greedy players. It gives us a lot of everything, which is obviously great. So anyway, extra Immortals on the way. We want to go for that third base, guys. Remember, we started going for that third base. So I'm just going to build a few Zealots because they're the best kind of raw fighting units against like Zerglings if he floods some Lings across or something. We could see a Rotoran at the front. I'm just going to chill out front the base and siege up the Observer there. That way I'll see any army flooding out. We should have pretty good info. Third base is building. And I think we're good, guys. We've got another Immortal on the way. I'm just going to rally all my Robo units down there. And do we have a pylon building? We do. So as long as we've got probes building, rally to the third. Always got a few probes building. What do we go next? Remember, after the third base, we want to go for those 2 Colossi. And I think this plan is super duper solid. Actually, I'm going to build another Observer first. You might be wondering why? Remember, if this Observer dies, that's going to be a bummer. I also want to be able to rally an Observer around the back to hunt for the Spire. Remember, against Mutalisks, we're really weak. And if we lose that to an Overseer coming out, and we don't have another Observer to scout, no Sentry to hallucinate, that's where things can get pretty nasty. So it's best to have a little bit of extra safety precaution here. Yeah. Just keep chronoing your units, building these guys. Unfortunately, we are supply blocked on starting that second Colossus. There we go. Do we want to go a Disruptor straight away? I like to kind of go 2 Disruptors straight away, just because then it's 2 Colossus, 2 Disruptors, and nothing but Immortals. You guys know the MO we've been using for a while here. Oh, I didn't realize that actually walled that off from the back. This is a weird mineral line because there's no holes in the minerals on this map, guys. It's very different. So we're going to build up those last probes we need. Next up is, of course, Twilight and Forge, as you guys know. And just build it there. Yeah. Get a couple pylons, make sure we don't get supply blocked. Now we can start some more guys as well. Yeah. Alright, so this Observer has not gone across. It's going to go there, and then this guy's going to try and go through. Now, there's probably spores in the base, so I do have to be a little bit careful. I think I can get through here and get out the back. But I see Roaches coming out, which is a good sign. Roaches are not Mutalisks, so that's kind of nice. We could try, and we see a Baneling Nest and a Rotoran and an Evo Chamber. He's definitely not going like straight for Mutas. We'll build a few more probes, focus on our macro for a bit, queue up a few Immortals. +1, charge, Templar Archives, and then what do we do, guys? You guys know what we do. 5 or 6 gates. Now notice we only play 2 gate now against Zerg, not 3 gate. You guys can remind me to write that down in the notes, since I think that we were still doing the old 3-gate kind of just generic version of the build. They're kind of like, oh, we just do the same thing in every matchup last week. But we're making it look a bit more like a pro build now. Now, if you want to be pro, why build those gateways there? So I canceled 2 of those. Get a semi-wall. That's so useful, man. It's so good to have like this. Yeah, maybe put like a backup panel in there as well. It's not the most solid wall. You could blow that up with banelings, but that just, it does help a lot. Queue up a few more immortals, add them to the control group. And remember with the observer, we're just going to go around the backside looking for Spire. If you ever want to see a bit further, but you're afraid of the spore, you can siege it and then do it like that. Remember, observer speed is also amazing for this. So don't be afraid to just go observer speed even as your first upgrade before Colossus range. Super underrated upgrade. Something we should all be using a lot more. 4th base is there. We can already grab 8 of those workers. 2 there, the rest on the 4th. 2 more immortals. Actually, make one of those a prism so that we're actually ready to attack. Alright, we've got more immortals, add them to the army key, and now we can go Archons. And we know this is where our army gets so much stronger, right? This is huge. Every time we get to do this, it's massive. Now, have we seen a Spire yet, guys? We should probably put this observer on a hotkey, by the way. No Spire. Awesome. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, jeez. Select the disruptors and shoot them out. Okay, let's spread the units out a little bit because we see a lot of banelings. Try to run the disruptors away. They weren't on a control group. Okay, that observer was badly placed. It should have been placed over here. I clicked it on the minimap, and I didn't see that army coming, guys. Very bad for me. Build some Archons, build some Zealots. Luckily, it worked out because this army's effing OP. Whew, good thing I'm playing an OP strategy, guys. Otherwise, we'd be in trouble for that lack of vision. So this, you see, this observer would have given me a lot more vision. I also, with that observer, should have been checking for the 4th base location and then sitting out front to see where it's coming from. That would have been a dumb way to lose the game. All right, let's get +2. We can get Blink just in case we feel we might need it. We could put another cannon out here as well if we want. All right, let's get another Archon. And remember, these armies they just grow stronger with size, okay? That's like the whole thing, is you don't need to do that much. 66 workers is fine, just transfer workers to the 4th. We don't need any more than that. And what are we gonna make, guys? Lots of Zealots. Now, is that all my gateways hotkeyed? Apparently it is. You can also wall this base off a bit better. Get some more of those. Alright. Alright, guys, we're getting ready. Now, as always, we want to send Zealots around the right side. And the rest of the army can move down the left. We're going to attack from this watchtower. Why from that watchtower? If you look at this, that's a really tight ramp. So he can't really defend there unless he comes in flanks, which is hard for them to do. So I think that'll be really effective. We're going to grab the Observer, click that on my Colossus so I can clear creep. Keep building Immortals. Keep making Zealots here. Adding to the army key. Alright, so these guys are going to come in from this side. And the Zealots are going to just move towards the main as well. Now we can see at my 3rd I'm under attack, so let's go back there. We're going to make some sentries. Make some Colossus, just so I have something that fights on its own. We can try to make all these guys. I'm just gonna force field. These guys are gonna all die by the looks of it. I'm gonna embrace in the base trade for now, guys. Seems a bit too stressful. If I can just defend back here, I'm gonna make lots of sentries, and we're just gonna keep making units. That'll be great. So you see, we accidentally let them through, which was not great. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Better run the probes away if we can. Okay. Have we killed everything yet? Guys, get into the main. Oh, he's coming back to fight me. Okay. Alright. So he did come back to fight me. Let's keep pushing in. Try to throw one disruptor shot. Click it on the Ravages. Still got one. We can rotate the weak one to the back. That's great. Next one goes out. Massive shot potentially. Goes for the Ravages. Even though I was a little clump there against the Banelings, once you get to this big army of Archon Immortal Colossus, Ravager Baneling becomes kind of worthless. And we managed to come out on top. And not only that, we have 56 probes left alive. And 3 bases, which is pretty massive. Because if it resets, we can just kind of go like this. Grab these guys, click them there. We can double check, did I select the right amount? Yeah, we can grab this many, send them to that side, rebuild the 4th. And you can kind of just be like, okay, we'll grab a few more. You guys can go down there as well. You guys go there. You guys go there. Okay. All right, cool. We build those cannons. Get a few more pylons here. Get some pylons there. You can just kind of reset out of plasma shields or a +3. We've got all these units at home. Often I build disruptors in a base trade, but yeah. Big's playing like Masters and Zerg like Diamond. I'm definitely playing like a little bit better in these reaction scenarios. I can play a little bit slower for sure, and it would be a bit closer. Yeah. I can react with less decisiveness if you guys would like, but I think the decisiveness teaches you. Since we're in Diamond now, Diamond Part 2, which is kind of, you know, the higher end of Diamond, I don't really see it as being too valuable to purposefully screw up super hard. I'm just trying not to play like blitzing fast, if that makes sense, because I think a lot of Diamond players are reasonably fast. Once you get to Diamond 2 and Diamond 1, they more lack the game knowledge and the understanding of what to do in each situation. So if you guys have any questions about specific things, you can really help me add more information to help Diamond players a lot more. But I really need you all to try to ask me as many questions as possible, I guess I should say, just to really add those extra details so I can expand upon it. Because I'm not going to explain everything in the heat of the moment. Sometimes I forget kind of what to say. This feels slower than your Diamond 1 games. I mean, we are playing a style that helps you play as a slow player, I would say. Response to proxy racks. Because we're getting to higher level responses now, right? So what do we do, guys? Core. Leave probe patrolling around their base. 3-point patrol path. So you don't die. Okay. Swap. Core. And Nexus timing. Plus pylon and gas timing. That sounds confusing, so what do we do? It's 20 core, 20 Nexus, 21 second pylon, 22 second gas, chrono, stalker, or adept immediately. Option to build a zealot first as well to help defend, but not necessary, as it supply blocks you. So that was from the previous game. I forgot to write that down. Figured I'd write that down. Now let's write down this one. Okay, so what does the opening look like now, guys? The opening, we're still following a few things from earlier, but it's your standard 16 gate, 13 pylon. So when do we send the probe down? Send probe to natural at 8 seconds, I'm guessing. I don't actually know the timing. I do it instinctively, I haven't done this build much. But I think this is a really good way to practice being a bit more active, disrupting your opponent before going for the turtley style. All right, let's go. So I sent it down at about like 5-6 seconds. Yeah, because we want to build it on the natural. No, that times out, because then you get 100 minerals and then you immediately resume probes. So 13 pylon, you need to delay a probe for this. Send a probe to natural after returning its first minerals. I think it's first mineral trip. So basically, I think that's a good way to think of this, is like a nice easy way, is like you start the game, you build your probe, and then like the first probe that returns its minerals, this guy, you send him down. And that is actually exactly what I did, funnily enough. Cool. Good to know. So obviously it's 13 pylon, resume probes. 13 pylon. Plus go block Zerg natural. So then we resume probes. 16 gate, 17 gas, all the standard stuff. Chrono a bit earlier, since pylon finishes earlier. Should be right around. I don't know the exact timing for this, guys. Let's find out. I chronoed late. That pylon's already almost finished, so we should probably be chronoing at 23 seconds or something. Because notice, I can start another full probe. So I think if I chrono at like 24, 25 seconds, I think that's fine. Let's say you chrono at 24. Should be right around 24. See, so mine was quite late this game. Sloppy. Because I don't do this build much. I chrono as the pylon's finishing. Wait, I chronoed after the gateway even. Oh my god, so late. So late, so noob. And you might think, man, that gateway is late. Look at how long the pylon was done. Why is your gateway only just started? That's still a 36-second gate. That's a very early gateway. So just because your pylon's earlier than normal, don't let that throw off your perception of the build order. And then that next probe is delayed by just a fraction of a second as well. A little sloppy there, but not too bad. But yeah, getting the block up is great. Now, a lot of people here are tempted to follow the drone to the third. It's a bad idea. You can start following it, and then it might bait them into sending a drone down. But by the time you get to about here, you have to turn back and block it. And remember, rather than checking for the hatchery, I always go into the main, because we want to check if there's a 12 pool. Because there could be Zerglings about to pop at this point, or, as we see in this game, he's just started his gas, and he's just starting his pool. Gas at a minute and... Well, he actually did his gas very early, 1 minute and 4 seconds, but pools at a very standard time of 1:15. And we kind of go, no worries, let's confirm the third base is where we think it is, and that he's not proxy hatching me or something like that. And we should be good from there. And then we just follow a normal build order. Now, with the Adepts, like I said, pattern recognition is key. You do not want to just force your Adepts in if they've got plenty of Zerglings and Queens in good positions. But, luckily for us, let's give some coaching to our opponent. Our opponent had terrible opening defense. What do I mean by that? They forgot to build a queen on their expansion, guys. Oh, no, there it is. Sorry. I was like, yeah, wasn't there a queen here? Okay, there's the queen. They removed the queen. Their overlord positioning sucks. So this overlord is in a really useless position over here. What's your name in chat, by the way, Nocton Glitch? Thank you so much for playing, by the way. You actually played really quite well with the Ravager Bane. It's just kind of hard counted by this style. But this overlord is useless until much later in the game. This overlord is also useless right now. You don't need an overlord sitting above your third base, right? You need an overlord out front your natural, which in this case is out here, to see that adept coming ahead of time, and the queen should have been there to greet me and start doing damage on the adept when it was out here. You also want your second overlord out here, so you can see if the adept goes the other way. That's going to give you the ability to deal with it. Technically, you should split your lings, half here, half in the main. This gets very technical though, doesn't it? So what makes this easier is if you just go for a 14 or 15 hatchery and don't get blocked in the first place. But if you get blocked, playing hatch first, that can, all of those things really help out. That ring of vision, this is a thing you should do in every matchup as a Zerg. ZVT, ZVZ, ZVP, because you need to see Adepts, Hellions, or Ling Bane coming in. It's always first Overlord, enemy side of the map, second Overlord outside your natural, third one outside the other entrance to your natural. And then you can start filling in, maybe there's a third Overlord you put up here, a fourth one up here, a fifth one down here. But those are lower priority than these initial Overlords to see Adepts, Hellions, Zerglings. So because he wasn't in position for that, guys, I just get to walk into the base, which is great. Now, I could have cancelled the Shade here. Why? Because I see no Zerglings. If I cancel the Shade, I could just pick off a drone or two, or at least force some Sportrix, and then when I see the Lings run away, right? And always just throw the Shade away ahead of time. Usually there's some Zerglings there, so I didn't take the risk. I just let the Shade finish, and we kind of go, oh, okay, he's chasing me. And notice I'm not attacking as frequently as I can. Biggest mistake most players make when they're microing Hellions or Adepts away from Zerglings is they try to attack as often as possible. That's not as important as not letting the Lings surround you, because if they surround you, you're just going to die in the blink of an eye. Just keep moving, and then if you feel you've got enough space to squeeze an attack in, that's great. If you can target fire the weak Zergling, that's also really great, but obviously a bit of accuracy involved. More important, if you see they've built a bunch of Zerglings, they're reacting, they're focusing on this, chances are they're already screwing up their macro. And guess what, guys? They're about to be massively supply blocked on 36 with 2 lava injects popping and no way to spend them. Only 1 lava inject. They did go for a creep trim, which is really good. And that's because the Adepts distract them. You don't need to do damage here. People always think, I need to do damage. You just need to prolong the pressure and also save that Adept to join up both Adepts. Because when you've got 2, you hit the ability to one-shot Lings, one-shot drones. Way more important. So it's so much more important to also do that. Why else is it important to back away? I haven't macroed in a little bit. I need to go home and build probes and pylons and things. So it's good to give yourself a break from the micro, queue up some macro, and then go back to micro on your own schedule without disrupting your macro too hard. At the end of the day, macro should come first and foremost. When you're learning a pressure like this, you're going to screw up the macro a little bit. It's not the end of the world. But just as time goes on, remember, you just want to do like little sections of 10, 15 seconds micro, and then go back to macro. You don't want to just stare at the adapts for minutes on end. That's not the goal. So whenever you want to disengage to macro, you just click them back, disengage, do your macro, come back and re-engage. You can see here, tried to focus those Zerglings down. Didn't really get too many of them because our opponent pulls back. But then we're in that main base. And this is suddenly so annoying for them to deal with. And like I said, I felt like, oh god, I'm just going to win the game with these two adepts. So I didn't focus fire as fast and hard as I could have here. Still was pretty good focus fire. But you can see I'm up 12 workers already, right? So it's already an almost game-winning advantage for me. It's overwhelming, right? Massive, massive advantage. But I like the opening of this pressure and you guys getting used to this. I also killed an Overlord, by the way. I think it really helps you develop your multitasking and aggression as a player. It'll scout moral in, so it'll keep you safer. And it also just ups the difficulty of the opening. It's important to challenge yourself in StarCraft, so you don't have to do this opening, of course, but I want to show this just to give you guys those options. Since the rest of the style is not the most challenging or exciting style, I guess, massing robo units. But you can always add these little details to any style to make it a bit more exciting and challenging. And I think that's really effective. From there, I don't think there's anything too important that we really needed to write down. Second gateway, I guess, timing, right? This is just standard stuff, guys. Yeah, so it's 20 Nexus, 20 core, 21 second gas, 22 second pylon. Adept plus chrono, adept plus chrono, stalker. Okay. Yeah, and then we can get our robo. Whenever you get the money for it. Second gate to complete wall off. 12 out of 16 workers on natural. Take third and fourth gas. Real basic stuff here. Nothing too unfamiliar. I took it at 10 workers on the natural, but that's okay. Took it slightly earlier, I guess. The gases, not a big deal. Yeah, then we just go second robo bay into third nexus. Second robo plus robo bay. Third nexus. We go observer. Immortal. I guess 2 times Immortal is pretty good. Observer, and then we can go 2 times Colossus. You guys know the trick. 2 Disruptors. Immortal production. Okay, pretty standard stuff. Yep, third Nexus. Twilight plus Forge. 6 gates. Use 3 to 4 to wall off your third base partially. And you're rolling. All right, guys, we got ourselves another PvZ. We're playing against a GM Protoss. But his Zerg, Fluffy's Zerg, is only Diamond 1, apparently. So you know what they say about Protoss players, right? You're stupid and can't off-race. Just kidding, guys. But I think, you know, he looks at this style I'm doing, probably sees how he could make it my life difficult with his game knowledge as a GM player without necessarily being that skilled. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how annoying he makes this for me. Now, I forgot to go for the 13 pylon this game. We're still going to do the double adept pressure. Build is pretty similar. Doesn't change that much. But I will make sure in the rest of the PvZs I do that 13 pylon, okay, guys? All right. So we can get the gateway, the gas. We've already chrono boosted the probes. Notice how we're always chrono boosting before the gateway starts these days, now that we're a bit more optimized with our build. And we're reliably kind of doing everything correctly. 4th base, probably 5th base in the middle, I would say. This guy's just going to check to see what's going on. How are we doing, Mercy? Thanks for hanging out. Dot's been in my chair. Why is this leaned back? That's interesting. Is he scouting for Cannon Rush? I don't see a spawning pool, guys. Is he going hatch first? What the hell? 3 hatch before a pool. Well, that's not going to do well against the double adept pressure, guys. Also, why is he taking gas so early if he doesn't have a spawning pool? I'm very confused. Yeah, his build order's kind of trash. Okay. I mean, if your opponent does something, it's really important to quickly put it in a category in your head and just say, oh my god, he's doing something weird, panic, panic, panic. No, don't do that. That's what most players do, is they freak out when they see something new. Guys, we're already planning double chrono adepts. It has the chance to do even more damage. Now, that doesn't have to be direct damage, remember. It could just be forcing a lot of units out from him. My second pylon was a little late because I was taking a bit long to process and make this decision. We're just going to play our build exactly as normal. And this is the mistake most people make. They see a greedy build and they panic. They go, I gotta do damage, man. He's playing so greedy. I gotta punish him. I gotta punish him, man. And of course, what do? They fuck things up because they're pushing themselves way too hard to do something they have no idea how to do. Cool. We can chrono probes a little bit.
Combat awaits. Yes, execute.
All right.
Glory
Make a stalker, rally the overlord.
Give us your. Where shall we? Let your will be heard. For the light. The Templar. It shall be iron.
So notice how we saw plenty of lings. All good. Let's go home and macro while we group up.
Combat. Yes, executor.
Shade into the main. Chrono.
Give us your
And just gonna chill.
faith.
Alright, go over to the third, no worries. We've got the robo up. Let's make the second gateway. Finish the wall.
Met the enemy. Forward.
Alright, we're gonna just focus down a drone or two.
To glory.
And
We are
stay off creep. Whenever you go into the main, guys, it's really important that you stay off creep.
the Templar.
Now, I'm doing a lot of damage, so that's really worth it, but let's look away, okay? Because we need to go double gas. We need to go second robo bay.
Where shall
And
we
now we can go back in. Now, you might be like, isn't ling speed going to be done? Pig, you got to be worried, man. No.
faith? Before
Remember, you can't defend everywhere at once.
forward.
Just going to run down here. We're going to cancel this shade.
None
We're
deter.
just going to run around. Keep building probes. Remember, I'm giving myself the time. Go there, build a pylon. And we're going to build a few observers as well.
Is upon us.
He finally has his thing out, so we're just going to focus fire some Zerglings. And we do lose that. Alright, no worries, guys. Stalker never killed the Overlord, that's okay. And we're just going to make those 2 Zealots I was talking about. Making those 2 Observers. We're going to make the Observer speed I was talking about before as well. And we can get that shield battery in the mineral line this time. Rally down there. There's some Zerglings there. I think we can just try and kill these if they're still around. Obviously, we're risking getting surrounded, though, so let's go sit at the third. We're going to rally down here with this Observer. And now we can get our first 2 Colossi started, which, of course, we're supply blocked for, because I am a nincompoop. Alright. And this Observer can also go across. So we're going to put 1 Observer out front their base, as we always do, to see attacks coming. And then this guy's just going to go straight into the middle. And he's going to be on a different hunt here, okay? Ready to scout.
New technology.
Alright, we've got that one. We've got our first 2 Colossi building. We're going to make Viagra after that as well. We see some lings, we see a 4th base. So he's being very greedy, guys. So the answer to your opponent being greedy is either you match it with your own greed, or if you don't want to do it, yeah, he's going 5 base. Oh my god, okay. It's going to be fun. Or you go and attack earlier. So which one are we going to do? I'm just going to keep doing my normal build, and I'm going to attack a bit earlier than normal, guys. Now, one thing we can do here is you can grab your units and push. Because he's being so greedy, I'm going to push with a few units, but it's a fake push. So we're going to abuse recall while taking a 4th base. So we're going to do something really advanced. Okay, so we're going to take the 4th. We've got the Twilight and the Forge on the way, by the way.
I return to serve.
And once these 2 units come out, that's going to be our army. Okay? Got a 4th on the way. We're still probing, and we're going to attack towards this front base. Okay? So the whole idea here is get the observer on that, warp in a few zealots. These guys are going to attack this base, try and kill it. We're ready to recall, and we're actually expecting to recall. We just want to make him panic and maybe kill some drones. Clear a bit of the creep as well. Okay. Alright, let's get charge +1.
Research completed.
Oh, geez, that I did not realize. Just because I saw so many... Oh, there was a spire in vision the whole time, guys. Okay, I'm actually an nincompoop.
Protoss forces now in combat.
Cool. Wow, I overthought that one a little bit, guys. What can I say? Well done.
Enemy assaulting probes.
I am here
Yeah.
in the shadows.
Mineral field depleted.
So what's interesting is because he went like 5 bases, I assumed he was playing Massling Bane. And I stopped scouting with an assumption of what he was doing. GG, well played. And if we just actually paid attention to that, we would have seen it. Now, it's very hard to scout exactly what his Zerg's up to, and it's much easier if you just go do timing attacks, usually, to punish this sort of player. The problem is, if we think about StarCraft, is your opponent normally going to take 5 bases and then do nothing but drone and rush mutas all at the same time? No, because they die to literally anything, right? So this is basically your opponent rolling the dice on the one thing that counters you. And if I just paid attention to my vision, which I had the entire time, and we looked at it. In my mind, 5 hatcheries and mutas this early are mutually exclusive things, right? Those should not be happening. And I would argue 99.98% of the time, they would not happen in a ladder game. But because Fluffy's watched the Bronze to GM and knows what I'm doing exactly before the game starts, it's going to work. So this actually doesn't make... Like, this is not even a counter to it. I can kind of laugh at myself for not seeing the Spire, but it also makes no sense for there to be a Spire and 5 bases this early. I would argue you will never, ever run into this in the ladder. It's literally never going to happen. So there's unrealistic scenarios, and then there is even more unrealistic scenarios. Now, of course, if I paid attention and saw that Spire, even here, I'd have time to get up 2 Stargates, first order of business. I mean, you guys know the reaction at this point. Here it is, yeah. How to defend Mutalisk, guys. 2 Stargates into Phoenix production. Get a battery in each base. Potentially cannons and Stalker weapons if you scouted the mutas late. So if we scouted them this late, we would add those cannons. But if we scouted it when the Spire's maybe halfway done or earlier, then that's a different story. We scout it here, we 100% don't need the cannons. Yeah. GG's. I scouted your Robo first and your first Colossus. I decided to go for Muta and not blind counter the B2GM build. Okay. It's still very special though, Fluffy. Like, I don't see anyone playing the way you played here, man. Like that's an insanely fast fight. I mean, this is definitely an off-race player doing their own thing for sure. It's, yeah, I don't know. Like, definitely, yeah, you scouted the Robo, which is fine. You scouted the Colossus. It still could be a very aggressive push. Like, it's still, this is still someone making some stuff up that happens to counter me quite well. There is an important point from what Fluffy says, which is Robo is usually very static in that it's either completely all in or it's completely defensive. And you can argue that once Fluffy sees the third, they can be kind of chill because he's like, oh yeah, you're macroing, you're not doing a big all in. Once he sees the third. But yeah, we've already committed to pretty obscene setup. No Roach Warren, no Baneling Nest. Yeah, we lose to any sort of Zealot Archon attack, any Glaive Adept or Charge Lord attack or anything like that. Or obviously we've seen a Robo, so that's fair enough. But if there was just like a Robo 6-gate, 7-gate, something like that, that would have been fine. 7-gate single Colossus push. These things aren't usually in the meta, but there's a lot of things that would kill this, of course. Yeah. Feels like if I don't open Stargate, I have to hallucinate scouts, says Krolandis. We have speed observers. And my observer literally saw the spire the entire time. I just wasn't looking. If you want, you could even patrol it along the bottom of the map. You could even patrol it from like down here to down over here. But yeah. No. I don't think there's anything to learn from this game other than the fact that you can just scout better with the observer, really. Because this is a pretty extreme counter from Fluffy. And yeah, if I see it, I react in time and I'm fine. Even though this is a very extreme example of what counters what we're up to. Yeah, if we pushed with even these units here, this would have actually been probably even better. Maybe? Yeah. An Immortal, a Colossus, a few Zealots. It's good to do these fake little recall pressures when you know your opponent's being greedy. So once you see the extra hatcheries, you know they're being very greedy. It's good to push out to try and scare them a little bit. And if we could have done that even before he scouted the third, we could maybe even fake like a proper all in here. But as it is, GG's. If mutas catch you off guard, you are meant to die. Alright guys, we are once again going to be trying to do that pylon block, but I'm actually sending this guy down a little bit late. I don't think he gets there in time. Go, 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 go. So I think we've messed up the pylon block, but at least we're doing the build order like this. We're playing against Fluffy again. Yeah, that last game, that was like, I wasn't even looking because normally you don't need to look until about six minutes or later for the Spire. But that really caught me off guard. So I've asked Fluffy for another game and I've said, play completely differently if you want. Do the same thing if you want. You just play however you want to try to win. And if you can win, you know, that's great. Because this is exactly what I need is more of these sorts of games where players just do weird, different things. And because it helps me explain stuff. It's not necessarily like, oh, you know, I need to lose games. But if people are doing things that cause me problems, that naturally is going to lead to a lot of interesting explanations, I think. Now, we still don't see a spawning pool here. Yeah, his gas timing made no sense last game. This time it does. Okay. So I think he just hit his drone and he should have his natural building on location. Good, clever play there. We'll find out in a moment. Oh no, or he just took the third in a different spot. Could be a proxy hatch. We'll find out soon. Just gonna check around here. Back to probing now. And let's go second gas and second pylon. Because I didn't even see the drone, that's why I'm worried, guys. I think he's gone for the... Oh, okay. Okay, I don't know what he's doing exactly, but he's cheesing me somehow. I'm gonna check both of these gold bases on the sides. Could just be a corner base. We're gonna chrono in adept. Unfortunately, that pylon's late again. And okay, yeah, he's got the gold. So we're gonna sit on the high ground with that probe. We're gonna bring a probe to the low ground right now. We will build. Okay, yeah. Build the robo there.
The firstborn shall persevere. We serve.
All right, I think we're good, guys. The depths are going to do some damage. We've got a shield battery on the way, just in case.
I have met the enemy. Let none deter us. Give us your command. Glory to the day.
Build the Stalker again.
Ire shall be reclaimed. Where shall we march? Yes, Executor. Give us your command.
I am here.
Second gateway, chronoing probes. I'm willing to take some damage to kill another drone.
It shall be done.
Oh, he actually died from that. That's a bummer. Alright, we're making an observer now. He's definitely putting me in the weird zone here, where I'm having to do a lot of things at once.
Say thy bidding.
Ah, shit. Okay. But I think we're doing fine. So we got the second gate. We've got the Robo Bay. We've now got the second Robo up as well. Things are being built in definitely weird timings, but that should be fine. Let's build a Zealot here or an Adept. And then we can see what's happening. Those guys go there. Make one more Observer. And I think we should be okay. Okay. Let's take this third over here so it's a little bit further away from him this time. Actually, screw that. Let's take it right here. I feel confident. Okay. There we go. Got one Immortal on the way. And what do we see, guys? This is very important to see what we're up against right now. No workers on his third means his economy sucks dick. Doesn't mean he's not droning, though. Could have been we did a lot of damage, you know. No hatchery. This looks like an all-in to me. So what are we doing, guys? We're making Immortals. We're making... yeah, he's just making units. So we're going to make extra batteries, make a couple sentries here, because they're a really good defensive unit when you're in a lot of pressure. If I can get a Colossus, actually, instead of an Immortal, I think that'd be great. So we're making a Colossus up there, okay? Alright, I'm going to try and fight this with me Immortal. I'm going to kill that Ravager Egg and then pull back. Okay. Very important that we got those two Observers out. We can see if he goes back to droning here. I think he kind of has to. I'm just building Zealots because I'm gas-starved, guys. They're not the best fighting unit. They're the easiest fighting unit, okay? All we're doing is chronoing the Colossus, making Viagra, making all these units. Trying to get damage where we can. I think him opening that gateway is good because it allows me to go in and out. But until I get the Colossus and a few more Zealots to deal with the Zerglings, we're screwed. Now, he just droned. That base looks way more full. This base also has more drones on it. So what are we going to do, guys? Well, we're going to build 2 more Immortals. We're going to build another Zealot, and we're going to push out now. I don't want to go too far, but I think we're happy to fight him. Oh, we actually managed to take it out. I'm surprised. I mean, obviously we're going to kill so many units, though. Which is great. Let's get the Twilight and the Forge up, and then we can move out to take that third. Okay. So, we're still building these units. We've got a Disruptor on the way. 2 Disruptors even. He's still rallying units, guys. So we're still trying to just make stuff right now. We're going to make another battery out front. And we're trying to probe up here, but obviously more important is probably going to be the extra gateways that we're going to need. So we're going to build just a few gateways. Just keep on making units here. Trying to defend as best we can. He's still making... Now he's gone back to drones, the cheeky bugger. Okay. Alright, let's remake this gateway. I think that's the most important bit right now.
Consciousness awake. New technology researched.
We can build a shield battery there as well. We don't really need it because I think it's more important to probably attack him right now, honestly. But that's okay. We got another Colossus and another Immortal building. It's really easy to focus on gateways and forges and these sort of things, but I think it's more important to get the power units up. We're trying to make charge and +1. And what do we see, guys? Evos, Baneliness. Now, he might be going Spire, but I doubt he can afford it very soon. And look, now we know that his army's not about to counterattack us. We're just going to build a pylon there and a pylon there, because run-bys are definitely the big enemy. We're going to move up here, and we're just going to kill his whole army with Disruptors when he's not watching, okay? So what you're going to see here is me. We're going to go forward with the balls. Ah, he saw me, damn it. All right, we're still going to go try to throw one there. Try to throw one there as well. We're just going to run back up that high ground, okay? Oh, we've got a lot of guys there. Warp in some Zealots at home. These guys all going to come onto my army hotkey. Another Colossus comes out. More Immortals. Let's get the Templar Archives. And 1, 2 gateways. That's only like 7 gates. It's not 8. I'd like 8 just to have that nice even number. But you can see it's very awkward right now. Okay, so Okay, he's trying to do run-bys. So what we're going to do, I'm going to send a Colossus and a bunch of Zealots out to kind of clean up the Ling run-bys. We're going to leave a Zealot in the wall. And these guys are just going to be here. Still going to try and get him with the balls if I can from the high ground while these guys break away. Okay. We can catch him off guard when he's not looking.
Mineral field exhausted.
There we go. And we can just run away. We don't need... Oh, actually, we can keep fighting.
Mineral field depleted.
Okay, so we're just keep building immortals, guys. Keep building immortals. And remember, what's the secret? If you can get Archons up, it's game over. Now, what if he goes mutas? Don't you have urgency, Pig? What the fuck you... Well, no, I don't. And you might be wondering, well, why? Think about it, guys. If he's making all those Ravages, all those Lings, double upgrades, he's outside my base. He hasn't had enough time to make mutas. I don't even need to look for it. I also just look at the production. I see more roaches and drones coming out. If he gets to mutas, I will be frigging impressed, man. I will be so impressed. It would be magic. You can't be playing against the demons of a previous game. Now, if we send a flanking disruptor, by the way, to come from the right, yes, we can't protect it, but I don't think it matters. Oh! 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 Oh my god. Okay, let's just jump on him, guys. I think we're in a good spot. We're just going to go after these guys. You can see how good this is for us. Try to make more units here. Trying to look around here. Pull the disruptors back. Everything else runs forward. And we should be able to have this game in the bag. Really good sneaky play by him. I think he did a very good job being annoying to play against. And we're just going to rally that army forward while using warp-ins, of course, to defend at home. Zealot is in position. And he's looking for a fourth, which doesn't exist. So we're just kind of going, check the natural, check up here. You can use the rally point camera location for that, I guess. You can make a lot of pylons and +2 attack. More important to look at the army. Definitely more important to look at the army right now. We pushed because we felt our army was stronger than his after all of the units that he threw away. I don't have a Warp Prism, which would have been nice, of course. I'm still worried about Mutalisks popping out, but with I think 4 or 5 Archons in there, 3 Archons, I could kill quite a few Mutalisks. This is a really good, kind of clever, hard to read play. What he just did there is really forcing me to react at like 5 different points in that game. Really well done. Now, I overcommitted with the Adepts, guys. If I'd kept both of my Adepts alive and just sat on the high ground, he's kind of screwed. Or if I shaded them towards the main and started killing workers there, he's kind of screwed. It was still pretty bad for him this opening. You can see I'm already at 28 workers versus like 20. You know, we're definitely ahead of him. But it's me getting surprised and disjumbled and disjointed that can cause mistakes. And here, like, that was unnecessary. Why'd we walk? We knew there was a spine coming. Just stay on the high ground. And when the Overlord arrives, you can back off, you know? Or go towards the main, where there's no defense there. If he's building a spine, you know he doesn't have mobile defense, right? So there's a good chance he doesn't have Ling speed. We can see he actually does have Ling speed. But from my information, doesn't seem like he's got Lings and Roaches out there. Go towards the main, make sure he's got these units. And that also would have scouted the fast Roach Horn and told me, oh, this is actually a big surprise attack, which would have been great. But sticking to the observers is really important behind this. And trying to stick to the build order, even though it was a bit discombobulated. I walled off with the Robo, because I didn't know about the proxy hatchery at that point, remember? So I was like, I don't know what's happening. I want to have a wall off right now. I don't want to have units run in my base and kill me. So I just kind of built the Robo in the wall as a bit of an adjustment. We threw down the battery as a bit of an adjustment. But other than that, I think everything was more or less in the vein of the normal build order. Hey, what's up, JC Wise? Do you suggest I learn standard hotkeys, or should I dive into the core right away? I am brand new to StarCraft and RTS in general. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think if you're not, if you're someone who's learned an instrument before, maybe you've learned to code. I'm thinking of things that really require you to at least have a bit of experience with learning. You don't need to be like an expert lifelong learner polymath, but if you've got a bit of experience learning some stuff, maybe you've got an academic background, that could help. Though I think muscle memory is one of the important things, which is why if you've like really played a sport to a high level with lots of repetitive focused practice or anything like that, or even other games to a very high level, you should be able to learn the core pretty easily. Some players aren't really systematic learners. They just kind of want to hop in, play the game, and see what happens. And for those players, the core doesn't work out. So that's why it's hard for me to recommend. I think because you haven't learnt any other habits, learning the core does make sense for you. And I think it's probably easier. Whereas someone who's like, I've been playing for 6 months, should I learn the core? I'm like, I don't know if we should bother unlearning at this point. I think grid is not terrible, though it has 1 or 2 drawbacks. Standard's okay with is mostly fine with a few really crappy default hotkeys that you can change. It's completely up to you, really. I don't like really telling people what to do. I would say, you know, join the core Discord group, !core, ask people, try to, you know, get some more thoughts on it maybe. But I've never really, yeah, without knowing you, I don't know if I can really give too much advice. But hopefully that helps you make the decision for yourself. I hope that does. Grid just has a few things like Detonate Baneling and Morph Baneling is on the same hotkey. So you think you're morphing Banelings from your Zerglings, but you accidentally have the Banelings selected, so you detonate them all. You know, there's weird little things like that. But I still think grid's pretty good. I think there is a way around that. I'm not 100% sure. I think there's some way you can change that, but yeah. I think grid is the most like generically applicable that you can play across all game modes without your hotkeys breaking, like Eon Blue is hinting at there, and a few other things. There's no way around the Baneling detonate. I mean, I still detonate Banelings when I'm accidentally spreading creep, because it's the same hotkey as spread creep for me. So I accidentally detonate my Banelings when I'm trying to spread creep. Yeah, sometimes people, yeah, everyone has their own different accidental overlap with the Banelings, which they occasionally hit, right? Yeah. I copied grid. So you basically made a custom layout that is almost like grid, just with 1 or 2 small changes. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's a pretty nerdy topic, man. It goes deep. So dealing with dickhead Zergs. I think Fluffy did a fantastic job as a main Protoss player of understanding how to be a dickhead Zerg. So what's a dickhead Zerg? Dickhead Zergs are unpredictable and hard to figure out what they're doing. And that's how you're meant to play against Protoss. Like, that's actually how you're meant to play against Protoss as Zerg. The moment you're predictable and easy to read, it's easy for Protoss to take care of them. Dark is the best pro-gamer dickhead Zerg. He's a guy who just... What the hell is he doing? Nothing makes sense. Ja! So what's great about what he's done here is he's done this thing, and I'm like, oh god, he's kind of got this gold minerals coming in. He's playing really greedy. I need to be greedy. Oh, wait, it's a Ravager Ling all in. Oh, god. But then he sees I can defend it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm all inning. Look, I'm making Ravagers outside your base. Look at me, Ravagers, yeah." And here I am, like, wait a second. But I see drones. Oh no, he's droning. He is macroing, but he's still kind of trying to ambush me if I move out and delay me taking a third. So it's like, well, now how do I judge? Should I take the third now? Do I have to build my army for another minute, then take the third? Will I be too far behind then? So I've got to navigate that whole thought process, and then. I finally like, okay, I clear the army pretty damn efficiently, I would imagine. I was a bit behind in efficiency before that, I guess, from losing the Adepts. But I think this is a pretty good trade because we're ahead on workers, yeah. You might think, oh, trading evenly seems kind of shit with such high-powered units. It kind of is, don't get me wrong. I could have microed that a lot better. We could micro that better. I am not microing God tier micro right now. I am not full tryhard, even though I am playing at a much higher APM than some of the previous weeks. I'm almost at 200 in this game. So the thing is, once I get the third up, now it's like, well, surely you just build up a giant robo army. Because remember, we are trapped with this army. It gets so much stronger the more units. More Immortals, more Disruptors, more Colossus, more Archons, more power. It exponentially grows. Problem is, the longer you take to get that exponential growth, the more chance there is for your opponents to swap into Mutalisks. But they're greed to pay off. And look, our opponent's taking a 4th base. So Fluffy's taking a 4th base, going for lair. Now, I could have scouted for the lair timing, and that would have put me at ease a little bit more. Because I would have said, oh, his lair's not even done. I don't need to worry about it just yet. I can maybe even patrol this observer over the main and natural, because they normally throw the Spire somewhere in here. Seeing the double Evo in the Baneley Nest did put me at ease a little bit. That made me go, okay, he's macroing, but ground macro. That's a lot of money to go towards ground. We got a bit of time. We can go charge, +1. We can get our gateways. We're going for that normal setup. Double robo pumping, 8 gateways, Templar archives, you know, all the good stuff. However, I was still a bit nervous because after the early game, my game sense is I don't know how much drones he has exactly. I could have counted these drones, but I think I saw some drones heading over here as well. Is that correct? Maybe they were just heading over to this base. I don't really know exactly what his economy's at. If I wanted to here, I could have calmed down and said, that's like maybe 5 workers on this base. Maybe he's got a few on the other side. Maybe it's 7. What about this gold one? That gold base isn't fully saturated either. Look at that. That does not look full. Is there 2 on that patch? No. There's 2 on that patch? Yes. 2 on that patch? Yes. 2 on that patch? Yes. 1 on that patch? 2 on that patch? Okay, so it's like 14 workers here at most, maybe. It's actually 11. You can see if you're just eyeballing it, you can miscount, right? So the point is, this guy is nowhere near 66 drones, 3 bases, right? We could look at it and say maybe he's on 45 drones, right? Maybe 50. We don't know. His main's undersaturated as well. He's actually on the 36. His economy sucks dick. But essentially, I could have looked at those drones and been a bit more chill there, right? I did not need to go forwards and pressure this base. But the reason I did is I felt like I could get away with it because I've got Colossus Zealot that shred Zerglings if they flank me. I've got Immortals that are so good stutter stepping backward against Roach Ravager. And I've got the big balls, which can get massive shots. So my idea was, look, if I just keep threatening him, which is the whole reason I took this front 3rd base, he's never going to get a chance to go towards the Mutalisks in time or whatever else, or drone up that hard because he's so nervous. That means I build an economy advantage. I build my army up to that power point where it grows exponentially in strength. And then, you know, we win the game without dealing with any of those problems we were talking about, right? Obviously, we got some big disruptor shots there, which are real game changers. We get 6 kills on one, 7 kills on the other. And then we just kind of back off, move forward, shoot. Because you remember, if you get surrounded, these units fall. It's so slow, so long to rebuild them. And that's why there is this danger of over-committing to aggression. It's why we wait such a long time with this build to get the Archons and everything else in there before we push usually. But you can see, I have an economy advantage. There's no spy attack on the way. So by threatening this base constantly, we actually really made it work. Now, I was bringing this disruptor into flank. The roaches, I didn't realize the lings were there, guys. And luckily I saw it and went, oh! And he didn't notice it. So this was obviously a dream come true. That was disgusting. So we got a few absolute banger disruptor shots, which admittedly were because I reacted very well. But even if I didn't, I have confidence my army would have done pretty decently. But if I didn't get those 2 disruptor shots, I would have been more cautious. I would have tried to kill the base, pulled back. Take a 4th base, you know, establish my defense, keep scouting. Maybe just blind build 2 Stargates in preparation if I really think mutas are coming, but there's no reason for me to think that, so I don't need to. Probably just start Blink and go from there. All right, guys, going into the next game here. I know we're hopping a few minutes in, but we're just playing a PvP. We've done the completely normal opening. We've seen very normal stuff from our opponent as well. We're going to make those 2 sentries, and then the Nexus goes down. We'll bring the probe home as well, just to keep it real simple. Nexus into shield battery, into high ground. Sentries will rally towards the main. Remember, 2 Stalkers out front. The question is, do we go Robo? I think we go Robo. And then we want to build... We're going to put these guys on our second army key. Main army key, second army key, camera location. We build 2 more Stalkers here. And then we resume probing and build another pylon as well. Let's build that pylon there just to get it down quickly. So you're naturally supply blocked at this point. I think getting the the pylon along with the Robo, then building the 5th and 6th gateway units also okay. It's always hard to judge at this point, but because this sentry is not that early, we do, you know, we are a little vulnerable to some all-ins, so we do have to be a little careful. We're going to rally these guys to the front. Oh, he's coming for me. Okay, guys, we're going to F2. Put another shield battery. 2 Stalkers. Sentries can be really good here, but notice we're going to spread our units out in a bit of a concave. Trying to make sure they can all shoot at once. And then we want to grab a few probes, bring them down. These guys are on a second army key. So he got one of my units down, which is nice. And then we chased him, got him, and pulled back quickly to the battery. Now we're ready to overcharge here. If you're worried about them jumping on you, you can go through sentries and force fields. But I think even just having 1 or 2 force fields to slow them down should be good. Now notice, we're Chrono Wing Immortals. Oh, hello. Okay. Notice we're going to try and pull back, guys. We're going to battery overcharge, okay? We're putting more Immortals right now. We know we're being all in the moment we saw those Stalkers on our side of the map, by the way. Technically, didn't have to be, just where they were positioned over there. 5 Stalkers on my side of the map. we're gonna react as if we're being all in. Keep chronoing the Immortals. Okay. And if we can force field trap him, guys, that would be great. Unfortunately, I messed it up. Why are we building Zealots, by the way? You guys might be wondering. Let's try and kill that Immortal. And notice he's gonna try and do the same thing. So all I'm doing is microing the Immortal here. I'm gonna build some more units. Big mistakes for me to let this get as bad as it is. Notice we're just trying to keep that Immortal alive. Notice Stalkers outrange Immortals, so we're gonna focus fire that. Alright, let's resume probing, guys. Hold down the probe key. Build an Observer. Keep building Stalkers. We should have battery overcharge, but unfortunately, I made a doo-doo, didn't I, guys? Does anyone know what the doo-doo is? Can't overcharge right now. Double chrono was not a good idea there. Because the whole reason I don't have to keep building Immortals is that I have battery overcharge back, but I just used my battery overcharge energy on not an overcharge, which is, as you can imagine, a bit of a doo-doo. So we're gonna scout now for the Robo. I think he's proxied it down here somewhere. I could be wrong. And we're gonna get a Sentry and a Stalker, because Guardian Shield's really good in these scenarios. Alright, we're gonna make more Immortals, guys. Let's get another pylon up here. Put these guys on gas. Get another pylon here and up here. Making sure we don't get supply blocked. Okay, there it is. Alright, cool. So we can also check if he expands behind this, but for now we're just chilling. We have an expansion. We do want to get rid of his proxy in a little bit, but it's just not high priority just yet. Disruptors are less supply than Immortals, are they? Oh no, my pylon finished at just that moment. We're going to build one Disruptor, and otherwise it's just Immortals and these Zealots, because these Zealots, being light units, tank so well. Oh no! So notice we're just focus firing that Immortal, and now we're focus firing the other Immortal. Move, shoot, move, shoot.
Consciousness.
Okay. More Immortals on the way. He doesn't have an expansion, which is great for me, guys. So all we need to do is survive. And we can try to go for the exploratory disruptor shot. Oh, he gets it. Oh, okay. Well done, man. I'll build another disruptor because I do feel, obviously it was dangerous the way I moved out that far. I didn't need to do that, but it's also where the big payoffs can potentially come from, right? If I had another sentry this whole time, I could have been trapping him with force fields a lot more, guys. But actually landing it, GG, well played. And that would have been really nice. GG's. If they watch the games out of order, they spoil themselves. I mean, I don't cast them all in order. So it's kind of like, I will not spoil things on my own channel that I haven't cast yet. Like, that's my rule, right, guys? We're having this whole spoiler discussion anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's go back to the build order a little bit and let's just iron out the details, add some notes where necessary to refine the notes on that B2GM a little bit. PvP. So we want to cut probes at 18 on minerals is what I've written there, okay, guys? Now, is that what I do? Not quite. It's 18 if I count this guy. So I build one more. There we go, I build one more. So we do cut 18 on minerals, 23 in total. 16 plus 6 is 22, plus 1 plus 2 plus 3. Should be 25, shouldn't it? Am I bad at counting, guys? That top right thing is showing the wrong. Yeah, 26. So 26 probes. 18 on minerals, 26 probes total. Because that's 18 plus 6 is 24, plus you've got one building the Nexus. 18 on minerals, 26 probes total, one scouting, and one building. One building the Nexus. Cool. Yeah. Let's just double check this opening a little bit. I just want to double check the gateway production to see, did I start the units the moment they finished, to get the core finished? And how long till I started the sentries? I know you don't have enough gas for both straight away, but hopefully I started one. It's a few seconds delayed there. Second one was pretty quick. If you guys prefer, by the way, you can absolutely go Stalker Sentry, Stalker Sentry. That'll give you a faster hallucination. It means I would have had more warning of the fact that I'm being all in. Downside, I'd only have one Stalker at the start. I'd have to be more careful with my units. If they Stalker pressure me, I have to do a bit more micro. It is your choice as a player what you want to do. People always say, why teach this? Oh, your scout's too late. Now it's harder to defend all-ins because you don't know it's coming. And I go, cool, okay. And then I teach people the Stalker Sentry. They go, well, now I died at the 2 Stalkers come over, and then there's 4 Stalkers, and I mess up my build while I'm microing to defend. And I go, so what we're finding here is StarCraft is a difficult game, and you can pick which part you want to focus on in terms of difficulty. And this is why I never tell people really how to play StarCraft. I always, if I'm engaging with someone in the conversation, I'm always like, oh, Bronze to GM is like a very generic tool set, right? It's like, here's some basics you can follow, but you have to try and actually use your own brain and learn and solve problems on your own. So you can choose which one of those you prefer on. And if you're hearing me say that and that sounds scary to you, and that the idea of making your own decision on your build orders, that's too much, I don't know which one's the right one, divulge yourself of that thinking as quickly as possible. There is no such thing as the right or wrong response in StarCraft. There is simply the one that you focus on and you get better at, and it becomes the right response. And the one that you're not good at it, you don't understand, and that's the bad response. The great thing about StarCraft is there are so many different options in every scenario, and you shouldn't be afraid of making the wrong one, because a suboptimal decision executed well is still a very good decision. Dark has taught us this many times. Hero has taught us this many times. The top players do it all the time. They do something that's not optimal, but they make it work. And that's something you have to understand, is if you understand why you're doing something, you have a reason, you find a way to try and make it work, you will get better and you will kick ass. So, what did we do once we realized what was up, guys? Well, I scouted pretty late. Remember, you are meant to hallucinate the moment you get 75 energy. Before we talk about that, let's finish talking about the build. So you go Nexus, Shield Battery immediately, just for safety. That's why we do that. And then we want to queue up 2 more Stalkers. I think we want to go the Stalkers before the Robo. After starting 5th plus 6th gateway units. And then we're going to go for that Pylon immediately after as well. Robo plus Pylon. And then we resume probing. So we do have a pretty big delay on the probes there, but I think that's fine. So the idea is we start those 2 Stalkers, guys, these last... Sorry. So we get those 2 sentries. That Robo would be delayed. We'd go Stalker, Stalker. Then we'd go Robo plus a Pylon. We'd be at 38 out of 39, and then we resume probing. So then we go 39 out of 39 with the first probe, and you'll be maybe slightly supply blocked for 3-4 seconds before the Pylon finishes and your next probe start up, and you're focusing on probe production from there. I think that's really good. I think that'll be really, really nice. Okay? Alright guys, so we went for the Pylon here. It's a PvP again. We're up against a 4.2k player, right on the upper edge of Diamond League. And Chrono, send the probe across, and we queue up more probes. So, just gonna scout what's going on, queue a patrol path there, get the gas. I notice we go on that patch that doesn't have a friend yet. You always want to make sure all your probes have friends, guys. You want to be a really overburdening mother who's trying to like force her son to have friends, and all your probes are your Nigel, little Nigel no friends, you know. They're like, oh, the other kids don't like me, and you're like, don't worry, I've got Billy over here for a play date. His mom's really nice. I'm gonna have tea with her, or you guys are gonna play. And you're like, and you know, you're like, oh, Billy's the kid that hits me all the time, and she's like, he's lovely, he's a very nice kid. Why don't you get along with Billy? And you're like, because he beats me up. And she's like, oh, why are you such a little fucking weirdo? That's essentially what we do with our probes. We have a buddy system. We force them to be friends with each other. It works out, okay? I won't hear anything to the contrary. Let's find that second pylon, guys. So we're just scouting around the base, rallying to the second gas. Where's that second pylon? What's going on, buddy? Are you proxying me, mate? Alarm bells are ringing, guys. Alarm bells are ringing. Let's check the natural. And then we can do one more loop up here before we freak out. So if there's no second pylon, guys, where could it be? So I'm going to go double Stalker, just like we've been doing, but we're going to send our probes out. And we're going to check everywhere for proxies. So this one's going to go down here. And that one's going to go over there. I'm going to build another probe or two here. And, yeah, we want to go straight for... Oh, hello! Well, that'll do it. Okay, so we're just going to hide this probe up there. This one's going to run back. And we're going to try to go out here, and we're not building sentries because we don't need scouting. So if you know your opponent's being a bit of a dickhead, takes 4 Stalker shots to kill a probe. You don't want to lose these guys. Just build our own robo and a third gateway and a pylon, okay?
Cold is the void. I serve for now.
So we just want to kill the pylon and get out before the immortals here, but because he didn't chrono, I think we're okay. So now these guys.
Be as you say.
All right, so we're just building more stalkers. Did we get the pylon? The pylon never built, guys. That's a bummer. Okay. All right, but we're sitting at 26 probes. We've got a shield battery. We got the high ground. Now you can either build immortals or prisms. The prism is the better unit because it allows your units to micro. However, that assumes you know how to micro. So it's up to you guys to make a mature decision in this regard. A lot of people I've noticed are very delusional. I've cast a lot of platinum players who always choose the warp prism. Even I'm choosing the immortal because I'm not playing at my full micro capabilities, right? So I'm going to make it a bit easier for myself and just make the easy units. Sentries here will be great for holding as well. But once again, that's a micro unit. Also, it costs a lot of gas. So instead, just make 2 zealots. You're wondering why 2 zealots? I'll make 1 sentry for like Guardian Shield and maybe Force Field Energy. But the zealots are going to tank damage like crazy, right? We can see if he ever expands as well. Oh, hello. So notice I'm trying to pull back that weak Stalker here. What I'm going to do is if he hangs around too long, you can try to focus the Prism down. I'm trying to just kill the Prism if I can. Alright, so we killed the Prism, guys. That was real nice. Now we can start the Nexus. Bad choice. Don't do that. Chrono another Immortal and just keep making fighting units, guys. There is no need. If you can click the Immortal, that's great. Why do I not go to the Nexus? This is a very important choice as we get the win. Because then I don't have money to non-stop make units. If I wait for another Stalker, Immortal, and 3 more Stalkers, and then I push out and fight, I don't see myself losing this game. Now I also, if he's not walled in, so we can go in for a scout, see if he's transitioning to Stargate or DTs, number 1. And number 2, we can warp into 2 or 3 Adepts and counterattack. Shade in, and that's going to force the GG, and we just need to hold the ramp. But if he's walled out, so I can't get in with those 3 Adepts, as the second Immortal comes down, I'd warp in 3 more Stalkers, and we basically just push over here. And if he's hiding on the high ground, I might not be able to push it. But if he's like on the low ground at all, or if he's not right on the edge of the cliff, I basically can push. Because getting a Nexus, getting up more probes is a very slow win condition. If I kill this guy's 3rd gateway and his robo on my side of the map, that's an easier win condition. And it's basically punishing my opponent for how risky his strategy is. If I've already taken a good fight, and then I just keep focusing on units, I can just go break the proxy, and then I can expand if I want to. But it's basically prioritizing the most important thing, right? Which is going to be that. So notice no sentries. And this was because our opponent was obvious about the proxy. If your opponent builds the 2nd pylon in vision, and then hides the proxy with a 3rd pylon, you're not going to know about it as early. That changes their build order. It comes with its own weaknesses. And what I want to point out is look how... Well, he actually forgot his pylon for a bit. It's on the later end. It does delay his 2 gateway units a little bit. But notice, first thing he does, Taylor Swift, or she, I should say, it's Taylor. So first thing T-Swift does is she drops her robo. Then she goes home, starts Warp Gate, starts a Stalker. If they've built their 2nd pylon at home, and this is only their 3rd pylon, they can't afford the robo yet. And they're usually just going to build 2 gateway units, make Warp Gate, make it look like a normal build, and then at like 220 they'll build the robo. So the attack will be slower, but more secretive. And in that scenario, you might not know about it, and therefore, it has to be, I'm just building sentries as normal because I don't know what's happening, and I'm maybe realizing what's happening a little bit later. But remember, even if I didn't see the missing pylon, there was another big tell here, guys, which is at this point, I've started my 2 gateway units. You have only started 1. Notice how the lights just turned on that gateway? It just started, so it's kind of hard to see. See how those lights have turned on? The lights aren't on in this gateway. That only ever happens where the units are disjointed and you don't have enough money if you've already built a tech structure or a 3rd gateway somewhere else on the map. Whether it be in the back of your base on a 2nd pylon or at a proxy. So there we go. Should we use the first 2 stalkers to scout around the base? Our own base? Like here and over here? If there was a probe in your base, sure, yeah, you can check for that, definitely. Yeah, not a bad idea. For me, I find it pretty obvious if a probe disappears into the fog of war. I'm like, why are you over there for 5 seconds before reappearing in my vision? But yeah, you could absolutely do that. I didn't see a probe enter my base at all, so I don't really need to. And obviously, we did some good micro here, guys. This was bad, taking hits from the Stalker. Because if he came in with both Stalkers and then got a few hits like that for free, we could have lost a Stalker, which means we don't kill the pylon. And then, there's a flow-on effect and all this sort of stuff. But instead, we damaged his Stalkers heavily and we killed a pylon. This is great. This is fantastic. I even damaged that Stalker, or even kill it, right? Yeah, even kill that Stalker. So I kill a Stalker, damage a Stalker. I could have killed that one as well. And we delay his production right now because he's supply blocked. This is fantastic. Bam, bam, right? Super chill. So, yeah. But very, very, very... If you can go out and skirmish, it's fine. But you have to do it with the intention in mind of running the F away. If 2 Stalkers arrived, I would have just ran away. If they came from the right, my Stalkers would have just ran straight south. If his Stalkers are like grouped up and they get the first shot off, I would just run away and run all the way to the bottom left of the corner map. And whenever he stops chasing me, I'd recall them home. And I'd just be like, okay, I can't break this. That's like I can't, I can't get a favorable trade. But because he stumbled in with 1 Stalker, I said, oh, 2v1, we can take that fight. I didn't chase him too far because I felt like he could just run away and we'd lose damage on the pylon. But by attacking the pylon, I keep forcing him to come back and defend it. And that's kind of the whole trick there. So then because I killed a Stalker, I come out with my other Stalkers. And then I just chill. Because remember, what are we afraid of? The moment the Immortal's out, these Stalkers get dicked. So many players get excited. I'm going to depower it. I'm going to depower the Robo. Oh my God. And you know what? I could have done that. But if I'm going to do that, I need to make that decision at 2 minutes 30. Am I like, what? At this moment, if I want to depower this and shut down the proxy, I need to make that decision. How do I do that? I would need to grab a bunch of probes. I'd pull probes off 1 gas and a bunch of, I'd pull probably like 6, 7, maybe 8 probes to make sure I can win the fight and shut down the proxy. I'd chrono probes onto minerals behind it while still making more Stalkers, and I'd just rally out the Stalkers and the probes, make sure I completely kill the proxy before going back to mining. It's a bigger investment. It's going to screw up their build order. They're probably not going to, oh God, what? Oh man, what do I do next? Shit, do I rebuild a Robo at home? Even though it costs you a lot of minerals, it'll completely stop their strategy in its tracks. But you're making that decision at this point when you first scout it. Not what most people do. They go, oh, I'm damaging a pylon. This feels good. Yeah. Maybe, yeah, I'm going to commit. We're shutting this Robo down. And then they always kill a pylon, and then they kill a Stalker, or they almost kill one. They trade Stalker for Stalker, and then their 2 Stalkers come in, and they think they're about to kill the 2nd pylon, and then the Immortal pops out, gets 3 Stalker kills, and it's game over. Because you killed a pylon and a Stalker, but you lost 3 Stalkers, and they got a Robo outside your base, and they make a 2nd Immortal, and they shove up your ramp, and they win the game. So I've got a big awareness of when that Robo finishes, 30 seconds from then, an Immortal will pop. Okay, guys? So if you're not good at game sense, I just estimate in my head. You can go, oh, Robo just finished. He started building something 3 minutes. 3:30, I need to get the heck out of here. Assuming he chrono boosts, it shaves 10 seconds off the build time. It'll be 29-second build time. So at 3:30, we got to leave. All right? And let's check. Because I did this off instincts. At 3:20, I ran away. I gave myself a big room for error there. Big margin. Which I think is a good idea. So hopefully that explains stuff. Not too many insightful questions coming in. What is this not being at full micro potential? I heard it twice now. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. These are... If you're literally not microing your first 2 Stalkers by doing a bit of stutter step and a bit of focus fire, then that's wrong. You'll notice when there's other things to focus on or the fights get big, I'm not microing 4 things at once. When I have 2 Stalkers trying to get an advantage against a proxy I am microing at a much higher level. Absolutely. But it's because it's a couple of units, right? So I'm never going to be doing that if I've got 14 Stalkers. Am I blinking back and focus firing at the same time? Fuck no. So I'm absolutely handicapping myself here. But when it comes to the early engagements, you got nothing else to focus on. And what is PvP about? It's about you microing those Stalkers. That's the only way you're going to get better at this build in PvP, is learning how to micro those units in the early game and react well in these scenarios. So there's no like, if I wanted to teach you guys an easier option, which is the reason why I only started teaching you guys 2-gate from Diamond, right? Or Platinum, or wherever we started the 2-gate. I think it was 2-gate into an all-in Platinum, and then now it's 2-gate expand. I'm only teaching it in Diamond because I wouldn't expect a lower level player to micro the units correctly and to just fumble the bag. But for Diamond onwards, I'm like, I can teach you guys how to play properly because I think you're at a high enough level you want to learn how to play properly, and you've got the potential to play properly, if that makes sense. Alright guys, what the hell is going on? We got ourselves our PvT. Is this the only PvT we've played today besides the game versus Jackson, Activillain, the random player? I think it might be. So if there's any other Terran players, guys, please join up. I really need like a Masters 3 or a Diamond 1 player. Lapua here is 3600, which I think is a, is that Diamond 2, guys? I think that's Diamond 2 these days, 3600. I'm not 100% sure on where the different boundaries are right now. Something like that, but third base down there, fourth base down there, and we can take a fifth over here. No sound. So guys, this is something daily in the chat. People hop in, they don't have their headphones in, and they go, oh, the sound's broken on this stream. Pig, you should fix that. Looking forward to people in chat telling them, nope, that's you, mate. And then going, ah, my speakers were off. My headphones weren't in. Every day. All right, guys, so we're going to go for that normal gate scout. We can do a little bit of harassment now that we're in Diamond 2. I won't harass too hard because they're not too high level. Okay, sorry. Don't be sorry. It's fine. It happens to, like, everyone, including regulars, on a daily basis. It's just really funny as a streamer because everyone's like, oh, streamer doesn't know their sound's not working. And I'm like, you don't know your sound's not working. It's an interaction that never gets old. All right, guys, I'm not going to harass any more than that. We're just going to scout around. The reason is, like I said, he's only 3600. I don't want to micro like I would against a Masters 3 player, because otherwise he's just going to fall apart on the macro and make too many mistakes. So we just want to play a normal build. Nexus on 20. Cybercore goes down. We're going to go for the second gas on 21. Now, if you want to be safe in this matchup against like the bunkers and stuff, you do want to build your second pylon on the natural. And that's actually really nice. Now notice we saw he went double gas, guys. So we're gonna, actually, I'm gonna hide my probe behind his base, guys. And the reason is, Cyclone all-ins are probably pretty popular ever since that video went out, right? I would imagine. All right, we were a little late on the second pylon there. That's okay. Austin did a bit of an interview with the guy that got GM. So we're just leaving that probe in vision so we can see when the command center comes up, okay? All right, Robo's on the way. We want to go for a Stalker next.
The firstborn shall persevere.
Okay, I think we've got too many guys there.
Where shall we mark?
Okay, so we just want to make sure that Reaper gets out of here.
Templar, march.
And we do see an expansion behind it. We're just going to sacrifice the probe here. No worries, guys. Now, because it's a double gas build, you just want to make sure you use 3 chronos on your Stalkers, okay? And Adepts. Now, we see it's a barracks, factory, starport. If there's a factory on the reactor, you need to react a lot harder and be a lot more worried, okay? But if there's not, you can chill. So I don't even need to use the 3rd chrono on the gateway necessarily. We can just make a robo, make an observer, sorry. Make a few more probes. We can get that pylon over here.
In the shadows.
Probably didn't need to chrono that. Probably should chrono probes when you chrono gateway units this much. Be a good way to do it. You can make a 4th gateway unit if you want, but because I didn't see the factor in the reactor, like I said, I'm just really not scared. We're just going to build a few observers. One's going to go across the map. Then the next ones will scout. And we can go, of course, for the double gas on 12. Keep queuing up extra probes. Lots and lots of probes.
Research completed.
Now we can go second robo. Get another pylon there as well. And we'll get the robo bay up next, okay? So we're gonna get observers all over the shop, guys. See, this one should see any sort of mine drop coming from the top. I'm assuming it's a mine drop. We don't know for sure. We'll find out soon. Just gonna siege him up in the base. We're gonna put this one down here. Put those guys on gas. Sorry, I'm playing a little bit fast. Let's slow down. Warping in a stalker. We're gonna put these guys in a central position. Robo Bay should be going down next. Let's just build another pylon to make sure I don't get supply blocked. And there we go. All right, guys, let's go take a third base. And it looks like we've got just 3 racks, and then he's going starport on the reactor. I don't see where his army's at. All right, we've got another observer just came out. This one's going to go kind of out front our base. So very defensive stance. And we're just building those 2 immortals. All right, guys. Build 2 pylons at the third. Oh, here he is. Warp in the main. Make sure it's a fast warp in. This is why we're watching the minimap between 4:30 onwards, guys, so we can spot this sort of thing ahead of time. Awesome. Very, very nice. And we can see which way he goes with this big ring of observer vision. So it's almost like playing Zerg, where we just see everything, right? Real nice. All right, we can make our Colossus next. Looks like he might just be flying in the middle, because I haven't seen where he... Oh, no, there he is. Okay, he's just going to run away for now. Good to know. All right, my observer's going to check what's going on in the main again. See if there's a third command center. We're probing. We're making our 2 Colossi right now. We're going to make Viagra as well in a second. All right. Probing. Still no third command center. It looks like just Marine tank, right? Marine tank medevac, like real standard play, okay? We could make a sentry here. I think 1 sentry is never a bad idea. We can also make a shield battery at each base. We can take both gases there if we want. Do we really need both gases, though? That'd be a nice question to ask. The answer is no, because we're playing double robo. I think you always want multiple of those. That pylon positioning sucks, by the way. All right, guys, we're going to send an observer forwards, this one. And then this observer is going to kind of move up as well, because we need to see where he's coming from. I never built my second gateway in this game, and that's okay if you've got really good scouting and that sort of stuff, but it is a little risky. So let's get the Twilight in the Forge now, second gateway. Let's build the extra Immortals. Actually, we didn't get the Disruptors yet, did we? Let's go for the 2 Disruptors. Oh, he's coming for me, guys. Okay, I did not realize he's already coming for me. So these guys, Observer sets up down here. This Observer sets up outside my... Oh, he sees it.
Combat.
Okay, I'm moving this guy through the middle and then back across to his side of the map. I don't know what's going on. We're probing up. Trying to play not too fast here. Let's go. We're on that many gateways. Let's go. Oh my god. That's a lot of units. Okay, we grabbed the Disruptors, guys. But I don't think I think he's just SCV pulling from what we saw. So we're just going to pull the Observers back. We're just going to keep building Immortals. Just because they build faster. And we're going to make sure all these gateways are hotkeyed, okay? I have Force Field as well, so I can just block this really easily, guys. And the Disruptors as well, this should be very easy. So we're going to throw a Disruptor shot out. We don't hit anything, though. And this Observer's over here, so if that other one dies... Build some Stalkers there, because we saw him going into the main. Shield battery as well. Just nice stutter step.
Access point under enemy attack.
Yeah, sometimes people go like, they'll be like, oh, what, you know, you're microing too fast for a whatever level player. I truly feel like Protoss does not have much to do, and if you're not microing, guys, I don't know what you're doing. No offense, Protoss players. Can be a bit racist towards Protoss players, but let's be real. We have the lightest mechanical load in terms of macro. Your whole job as a Protoss player is to use your units correctly with that extra APM. And some Protoss players don't like that, but I think we really need to just remember that's kind of our whole thing as a Protoss. Is our macro is a bit easier, especially compared to Terran, but easier than Zerg as well, I would say, if Zerg isn't being harassed. If Zerg's being harassed, Zerg macro gets very hard. If Zerg's not being harassed, it's very easy. So I guess Protoss and Zerg are kind of similar in that. But it's like Zerg has to use all that extra APM to position and spread creep and make sure they're counter-attacking. Protoss, we've got to use it to micro our units and really monitor what's going on. How many obs are there so far? I've lost 2 or 3, and there's two more. against Terran, you want to get so many observers. There's no such thing as too many.
Completed.
GG to Lapua. Luckily, Colossus are very powerful against SCV pools because you can shoot and pull back and shoot and pull back. And of course, as we add... oh, I never got the Templar Archives, which is a mistake there because you will bank up gas trying to defend these pushes. Of course, I would need to build some probes to replace the ones in the main. I would go +2, and we'd add Blink if this game were to continue. So a good little drop in the main, but I think because he'd pulled SCVs, I was most focused on defending the frontal army. The double gas response, guys. A lot of people freak out when they play against double gas, and they go, what do I do against double gas, man? So if you either shade the first adept across, or you scout with the probe. It's up to you which one you want to do. But as long as you confirm no factory on the reactor, you can chill. If you see a factory on a reactor, you need to play different. That's what we need to talk about right now. Okay, so this is important. This is really important. So PVT, response to proxy racks. Okay. I think I wrote some stuff on this last week. Maybe I should double check my notes on that. I didn't really write anything, so that's fine. Response to 2 gas, 1 base opening.
Thanks for the Bezos bugs.
Scout with first adept or by hiding probe, and confirm at 2 minutes 30 that CC is down and whether or not factory is on reactor. So basically, that's really, really huge. So what do? You chrono first 3, let's just say 4 gateway units. No chronos on probes after your initial one. And that's it, and that keeps you safe. You don't need blind shield batteries. If on reactor, if factory on reactor, then we can react a little bit more, okay? Because then we can go, okay, shield battery in natural. I don't think you need it in the main and the natural. We're getting an observer out pretty early. We're gonna have 4 very early gateway units, and that's gonna be huge. I don't think we need it in the main and the natural at the same time, because if we do that, we can't really afford to build an immortal, which is very good for shutting down Cyclone. Yeah, if factory on reactor, shield battery and natural. If cyclones, make immortals. But otherwise, still just make obs first, just as you normally would. So keep it simple. 1 gate or 2. I mean, this is all off 1 gate because you're getting a robo so early. You can't afford a 2nd gate. That's the whole thing. Is like having a 2nd gate is nice, but immortals kind of are amazing, and observers are. Can we squeeze a 2nd gate into the build? Sure, but it's not like for the initial response or anything like that. Just chronoing units off the first gateway gets the job done, right? So let's just look. Like, could I have got that a little bit earlier? So Robo wants to go down before that 2nd gateway unit queues up. You want to chrono it again. So even if your adept goes across the map, by chronoing your gateway again, you do actually get your stalkers out. Notice I did an extra chrono on probes, and then didn't even keep queuing probes like a dumbass. Oh my god. Sloppy macro pig. Very sloppy macro. So I missed a chrono on the stalkers. But yeah, we got a full scout. We knew there was nothing on, and it was all fine. So the thing is, like here, notice I just queued up more probes. I got a pylon. Okay, that's cool. I don't have enough money for an immortal, as is. So if you're building observers, you can probably start the 2nd gate pretty much straight away. But if you're building immortals, you have to delay it. Have to delay 2nd gate to afford immortal production. Whereas if observers, you can go 2nd gate immediately. I think that's really nice to know. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out. We've got ourselves another PVT. It's going to be Dono, a 3.8k Terran player. Excited to show some more of these builds. It's interesting because, yeah, I think so many people panic over the different things that people can do to us. But because we're going Robo first, we really are quite safe against just about everything. The observers give us scouting. Immortals are such an amazing unit. And we don't need to panic too much. I think a lot of people overcomplicate it when a lot of things can come from a simple opening like a 2 gas. People panic. They're like, oh man, what if it's this? What if it's that? And they want to have like a specialized response for every scenario. Remember, that's not how high-level StarCraft works. If it's a very special build they're doing and you know exactly what it is from a clear tell, sure, you can have a specialized response. But otherwise, you want a generalized response that does pretty well versus all the different options they can throw at you. And I know that can be hard to figure out and calculate as a less experienced player. But yeah, I remember when everyone was struggling at first with the 2-gas meta, and I was like, within like a day, I was like, I'm just going to chrono 4 units off my gateway. And people were like, no, that's not going to work. And I was like, why not? They're like, you need 2 shield batteries, and you need a really fast second gate, or you can die. And I was like, I don't think so. I think you guys are not understanding how StarCraft works. Like, a second gas doesn't just magically make units appear on your side of the map, you know? They have a few more options. Sometimes they take more damage to them than other times, but I think a lot of Protoss players would start getting traumatized and playing against, like, the shadow of what had gone wrong in former games. Anyway, this is a single gas, so we can just play standard, guys. We don't need to talk too much more about that. Now, remember, you do need to be wary of those, what do you call them? I'm gonna build a pylon there. I think there's space for a battery on the low ground from that. I just sent him down a bit late. So you always need a pylon near the natural so you can build a shield battery in case there is a bunker. It'd be funny if he builds a bunker there and it like blocks where I can build the battery because the minerals are blocking the other spots. But yeah, either build it on the low ground or I know a lot of people like to build it at the front as well. I'm gonna go Stalker first this game, guys. Most people would say, why go Stalker first? You meant to go Adept, then you can Scout. Sure, if you prefer to. Stalker makes defending Reapers easier. You can also try to pressure with the Stalker. Either way, we're going to do a double chrono on our gateway units so that we can move out with our first gateway units. Oh no, we shouldn't have rallied to the natural so early, guys. Robo's a little bit later this game, and we've got the Adept on the way, no worries. So Stalker's going to go for a Scout, and then the Adept will defend. Normally, yeah, I think in general you guys are right. The Adept is probably the smarter thing to do consistently. That's some pro gamer micro right there. Pig, that's not fair, I can't do that. I can't select my units. Work on it. You guys can do it. Easy, easy. I know, that was some pro gamer shit, as we call it. But I think it's fine. I think you guys would be surprised at what you can pull off. All right, extra pylon here at the front. There's a bunker there. No worries. Bunker is a sign of defense. They're not going to be doing a super optimized aggressive build and also have a bunker. Of course, if I have an Adept, I could confirm if it's a factory on the reactor or not, which would make things better. So don't get me wrong, you guys, you're absolutely correct in that regard. Oh, hello. We lose a probe there, no worries. We can F2 though. And we can also get one more pylon here, and then we can go for that second Robo and Robo Bay. Double gas goes down here. Remember, multiple observers are pretty much a necessity against Terran, because knowing is half the battle. Alright. Build a few more probes. I'm just waiting for gas for that second Robo. Guys on gas just a few seconds before they finish. Always gas starved with this build, aren't we? Got lots of probes queued up. That looks like, oh, we were replacing the probe that died. We accidentally put one extra there. Built another observer. So we're putting one out the left, one out the right. And then we're making another Stalker there as well. All right, what do we see on the other side? Second and third barracks, starport, and factory. Looks pretty standard, guys. We're just going to siege up there. We can see, oh, Hellions. Oh, is this marine drop in the main? I think this might be the marine drop in the main. Let's get that second gateway. We didn't build that yet. And let's go take that third base. So we're going to go after those guys, but we might have to recall to our main, okay? Let's try and group up so we can surprise him. So he gets away. I'm worried about that drop in the main. Oh, it's a Liberator in the main. Interesting. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that Stalker, shift select that Stalker. And the other guys are going to aim move to the front.
Protoss forces now in combat.
Go back to mining. Should have focus fired a little bit better there. He's going to kill a few units. But we know it's done. So remember, what do? Return to macro. Take a third. Chrono both next side. We can rally back to the main where we lost a few more workers. Our natural was already oversaturated, so we see it's fine. 2 Colossi. pylons. Awesome. One of the course I couldn't start. That kind of sucks. It is what it is. All right, guys. So it looks like we did F2 our observer home, I think, or maybe not. That guy can go back across the map. Maybe we lost an observer. A great observer placement just saved us some bacon. I don't care about this drop path. I think it's a bit less frequent, so I'll send him to the middle as well. We're gonna another macro cycle. Lots of probes. Chrono. Get these guys out there. Get the Viagra. Got the 2 Colossi building, 2 disruptors behind that, then Immortals. 1 Sentry, 1 Zealot. And you guys know what's next. We've got the important units queued up. So now we can go Twilight Forge. And
Protoss forces now
do all that stuff. He just scanned another one, did he? Or does he have a Raven? Maybe he's got a Raven. Alright, let's try and siege up out front this time. Alright, queuing up some Immortals now. Get that, get a pylon there. Try to build some pylons along the edges, guys. It's really important to see what's going on, so mine that out and then get a pylon down there as well. And we can just sit on the 4th, ready to take that in case that becomes something we want to do. Oh, he does have a Raven. Okay, let's go see what's in this main, shall we? Ah, 3rd base. All right, so we're going to set up in the base where we can at least see what all of his production is, okay? Let's get +1. Let's get charge. And where's our other observer? So because we've got these other things spotting now, this guy can go to the middle of the map and try to see when he's coming to me. We could put guys on gas. And what haven't we got yet? Gateways. You don't want to build any wall-offs versus Terran. You just want to chill. Get those 5 gateways. We've got plenty of supply free, which you might think is a little bit crazy. I think that's probably just a good idea. Oh, we see him coming. Okay, guys. Is that an SCV pull again? Oh my god, what are these guys doing? They're all trying to just kill me. Oh my god, I forgot building batteries. Uh-oh! We forgot to build batteries in each base, guys. This is going to be hard to stop. I'm going to try and move my observer down. Oh, we're going to kill that one at least. Try to shoot the disruptor out. Right, try to pull back a little bit here. Use the Guardian Shield. I don't know, is there more tanks? Or is that his whole army? Okay, that's not a big army. Let's just keep making zealots here. I think we're good. Ooh, scary. I didn't expect him to commit. We're going to rebuild that 1 disruptor, and from there, nothing but Immortals. Same as always, guys. You guys know how we play this. We didn't get the Templar Archives yet. We can queue up +1 armor. Make sure that keeps going. Now, if you win a fight like that, you can go counterattack. Or you can be greedy. Vote in the chat. I'm gonna start being greedy, but you guys can vote. And if you vote aggression, counterattack, I will immediately stop building any extra probes and go for the attack. So you guys can vote on that in the chat. Greedy or aggressive. He's got a good economy. We're going to set up a zealot run by on the left of the map. We're going to put 1 zealot on the tower. Let's mine these minerals open a little bit as well, because it's hard to get to that 4th. Alright. Why not double forge? Well, because you guys just voted for greed, we are going double forge. Why not double forge before that? Because we have more important things to spend our money on. Just a heads up, guys. Asking why not do this, why not do that, usually is not the best question in StarCraft. What you want to think about is why not do this instead? I was just making Archons. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. That just forces it to go away. So yeah, it's not about... In general, you're always going to learn a lot more from asking, hey, wouldn't it be better to just go double forge at the 4-minute mark every game? Then you could have 2-2 by now. That's going to start a bit more of a discussion. Because in StarCraft, you're always choosing to do some things, and you're always choosing, you know, necessarily not to do everything else. Why not play Sky Toss, right? You know, why not do this? Why not do that? It's like, well, I'm spending my money on other things. But if you propose an alternative, then we can have a bit of a discussion and actually both learn something. So just a heads up, something I try to reinforce in the community a lot is that attitude, because I think it really leads to us having a lot more learning and a lot more good discussions. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going a crazy gateway count because you guys wanted greed. DT's coming in with Blink. We can queue up plasma shields next. We've got so many immortals, right? How many immortals do we have? Quite a few. Okay, so one thing we can do is break these rocks to get another easy path. Put guys on gas. Now we can make a 5th base, but we don't really want to go too hard on like anything. This base is going to half mine out soon, so I'm just going to preemptively transfer it because I don't have anything else to occupy my actions right now. We're just going to build a cannon in each base, which I was already planning to do, by the way. Looks like he does get rid of one. Nice. We can get a Stalker up there and try to do some damage to him or whatever. Not a big deal. But yeah, like I said, when you don't have anything else occupying you, it's nice to do that. Okay, what is that up there? Oh, he's got a double drop, guys.
Army upgraded.
We know that he was near the watchtower, which is why I'm pushing forward here. But I don't have the APM to watch this, so we're just going to chill. Oh, we actually beat that. Damn. Remember, we have more gateways now, so we can add those to our hotkey if we're using my antiquated hotkey system. Looks like these guys, he did actually attack into that, even though I stayed back. A few more probes and a few more cannons here. Cannons on the edge is really important because that's going to kill any liberators trying to fly in there. So you want to try and build those right out to the edge wherever you can, there. And then up here we could also build like a cannon on the edge over us. Oh my god. Whee! Okay. Let's bring the other squad down here, guys. Let's make a big round of Archons and a big round of Zealots. Now, the idea here is we can now grab the Zealots, run them around the top side to attack as natural, steal them onto a different key. We can also get +3 attack, we can get +2 armor, keep building more Immortals. If you want to go more Disruptors or Colossus, you're digging those units, go for it. I really want you guys to play this style the way it makes sense for you. You're digging the Disruptors, go for it. If you like the less micro Immortal army, keep doing what I'm doing here. So we're going to push the right side now. The idea is if we can push multiple sides at once, that's going to be amazing. And this is, of course, where we can escalate it into Dark Templar as well. Are amazing for this sort of thing. Oh! I'm going to throw a Disruptor shot out. Holy moly! This middle area is so scary, guys. You got to be careful about fighting here. GG. Yeah, that was a very painful one. We have a lot more DTs grouping up. Now, when you first show your DTs, you want to use a lot of them, guys. And you want to kind of blink on a command center all at once. If there's a planetary, if it's not a planetary, you can just go in right now. So if we see a planetary in a turret, you don't want to go in with just 7 or 8 DTs. The reason is, look at how long it takes them to kill it. Even with +2, which we have right now. 1 volley, 2 volleys, 3 volleys, 5 volleys. That's too many. Because remember, there's a cooldown on attacking after they blink. They don't attack immediately. They wait half a second, then they can attack. And then they attack pretty slowly because they're super high damage units. So if you can come in with like 12, 13 DTs, assuming there's no support. If there's Widowmine or a Liberator there, you might need even more. You want to blink in with like a ton and go. And you want to blink it in at the same time as your army is kind of skirmishing with them elsewhere. Notice how my army was always engaging, shooting Disruptors, kind of pulling back. Engaging, pulling back, and then you run the Zealots and the DTs in. And these are your A-move squad. You just A-move them from a different angle. Oh, those guys die? Okay, I'm going to warp in another 10 DTs and send them around the top. This is how you play super OP late game PvT. Like I said, I'm happy to just go push him and kill him with robo units, but this is kind of what you'll see Max Pax and the top guys do is they get to this stage, which they very rarely do because they're under so much pressure playing Clem and these guys. They don't get a chance to do that, but GG's, man. Yeah, essentially you don't have enough gas to support a second Forge. And playing second Robo is already very immobile and static. So if you go double upgrades and double Robo, you're basically hoping the opponent doesn't know how to kill you. Are Immortals good versus Bio? They wreck Marauders. You've got Colossus in there to deal with Marines. People tend to go very Marauder heavy, and Immortals hard counter Marauders.